Don't give a damn.
Plastiques.
We don't give a fuck.
We don't give
Oh,
a
yeah,
fuck.
description. I add that anyway. Cause I add shit anyway.
And we're live pre-party.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Young Pen, what do you do when you get pulled over?
You shut the fuck up.
You never consent, and you shut the fuck up.
This has been a revival motoring podcast.
And now that we've gotten by us ever making money off this stream.
Yep. Oh yeah, instantly.
I mean, it's usually at least 5 minutes in that we get demonetized.
Yeah.
5 minutes. It's
I
in
don't
the
think
first,
we've ever made it
first
5 minutes.
ad.
Oh, Corey in the room telling YB to get off his mic.
Gonna have to really disinfect that thing.
Revival Wednesdays. We were just learning about law over here, about what happens when you get pulled over in your police state that you live in now with your 10 o'clock curfew.
Such bullshit.
What do you do, Young Ben, when you get pulled over? You shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and you don't consent.
You do not consent. Don't give him warnings, Double D.
Yeah, I was gonna say Double D. What are you doing?
Come on.
He's gonna learn.
Diesel D.
He's gonna learn today.
Ransom Garage in the house. Young Ben's here. He can hear the sound effects today.
Yep. Close that. Leave the chat open.
How's everybody doing? How's everybody not in the room? How's everybody in the chat room?
Yeah, how's everybody's day?
I think I switched my computer. I think it was on the other side last time. I'm kind of into this, though.
I think you did. Yeah. Now we got the space station going on over
Yeah,
here.
we get a real nice space station.
Yeah.
What if I move this further this way?
Let me hit
Oh, yeah.
record there. So we're at least good with that.
Am I good enough on the mic right here, or do I need to be closer?
Yeah, it should be fine.
All right.
Yeah, it sounds all
Yeah,
right.
as long as you stay right in front of that thing.
Right, I'm just trying not to lick where Blake was.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, man, poor
It's a
Blake.
good thing we disinfect everything.
Mm-hmm.
Burn it, actually.
Yeah, actually, we just replace the mics every podcast now. It's a new thing ever since the numbers started skyrocketing.
Just burn everything.
Oh, I should have had you give me some pistachios, Young Ben. I fucked up.
I asked if there was anything else you
I know,
wanted.
buddy. I should have taken those Sour Patch Kids. Those are great, too.
Can you give young Ben your shawarma order now?
Sure.
Because we'll send him in about an hour and a half.
Normal.
I fucking love this guy. Young Ben, get this guy a normal shawarma.
All right.
With hot sauce, unlike Chuck's.
Yeah, I'm not a hot sauce guy.
I know you're Sally about it.
It's
I'll
not
do-
even.
yeah,
It's not even that
I'll-
it's too hot. I just don't like the taste.
I'll do my usual.
All right.
My usual.
Yeah, I'll do the usual. Make sure they don't fuck up my pickles, though.
Sabayish.
Did they fuck up your pickles last
No,
time?
they didn't. But what happens when the man behind the shawarma counter asks you for an order? You shut the fuck up. Never consent. Never consent. Shut the fuck up.
And
If you guys haven't seen the Pot Brothers on YouTube, very good legal advice.
What was the last time? Oh, your hot sauce, right? Didn't they mess that up? Wasn't that messed
They
up?
hot sauced me the other day. Yeah, but that was a couple times ago.
If you hear clicky clacky noises, I'm sorry. Chuck's got a new toy to play
Oh,
with.
Jesus. Yeah, I forgot about those.
Oh, it's so good. What are you getting, texts over there?
No. I don't know why this thing's vibrate? There we go. Silent.
Turn this baby on loud.
Yeah, those thingies you gave Chuck, the beads there, the square beads.
Mutual consent beads.
Those things, like, I could literally just play with those all day.
So simple. It's better than a fidget spinner.
Yeah, it really
It
is.
is really, really fun.
Because it's like, you're like, how does this work? Why is this supposed to work this way? But it just works.
Literally having the time of my life with this thing. Okay.
Not yet. Texas E36 Garage. Not yet.
There's a package?
Yes.
John Orr.
It's a glitter
What's up,
bomb.
Johnny Orr?
Glitter bomb.
It's just poop.
Just Texas poop.
Just Texas poop.
Young Ben, you good? You ready?
Yeah.
Joe Booth, you good? You ready?
Yes, sir.
I know Chuck's always ready.
Born ready, buddy.
Yep.
Wait, for the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, I guess.
Cue it up.
Swear to me.
Welcome, everybody. I am Josh Garcia, and this is the Revival Motoring Podcast. As always, I'm joined by Chuck Who
I'm Chuck Who?
and Corey.si. Oh, wait.
No.
He's at home.
He was at a wet market in Hunan this weekend.
Oh, God.
Had to
Corey,
back it off for a day.
Corey's
Stuck in the van.
Corey's away for... He'll be back next week. Yeah, he'll
We'll
be
see
back
Corey
next
next
week. So we have young Ben sitting in the big chair.
Yes, sir.
He looks primed and ready as ever.
He's primed and ready. He's got his phone up. He's got his thumb working.
He's just leaning back. You know, I don't even know where I was going with that, but
He's leaning back, that's for sure.
yeah. And we also have Joe Booth in the studio. We're going to talk about plastics. Now, I'm going to be honest. Before, as I was thinking, I'm like, well, how much we're going to talk about plastics? But you came here and you had a little show and tell of all the plastic stuff.
And that's just like some of the stuff. That's not even getting into the other parts.
And it's almost endless. So I think it'll be quite good, especially this not new technology, but as the automotive world is adapting to this technology, and some of the things that can be had and made are quite sweet. So we'll get into that. Before we get rolling, this week's episode is brought to you by Revival Motoring. Issue number 6 of the magazine is up for sale right now on our website, revivalmotoring.com.
Is that our whole pile over there, Josh?
No, those are for contributors and ad space purchasers.
So we're looking light on
So there's
we got a
probably
couple left.
There's probably 8 or 9 right there, and there's like 8 or 9 left at
Oh
the
wow,
home
so
office.
we're getting light.
It's under 10, I believe, that's left. So
Verge.
if you have not purchased a copy, go and do so now. We would highly appreciate that. So we also have some sticker packs up there, air fresheners, and we will be dropping some new items very soon. Visit our YouTube channel where you can like, comment, and subscribe. Leave us 5-star review on iTunes. Between our podcast, videos, and print magazine, we produce content on a weekly basis. We are able to do that because of your support. So visit the webpage and support the fight for freedom and bald eagles. Also, actually, no, I'll save that for callbacks. Yeah.
You literally have to fight for your right to party now. It's been taken away. That
Yeah.
BC Boys song came on the other day. I was somewhere and I was like, these guys didn't know how right they were. Can't
What's that?
party at all. Try to
That's
party
scary.
now. Watch what happens.
How about that tea? You want to dump it in the river?
I'm ready to dump some tea, buddy.
Party ends at 10 o'clock.
Already hammered through. Yeah, we all have. It's a
good tea,
lock-in
yeah.
tonight. We have to stay here if we go too long.
Yeah. That is it for our ads this week.
We don't have any other ads.
We're
Huh?
a little light on the ads this week.
If you're trying to get an ad, holler at your boy.
Yeah.
We go real reasonable rates now.
info@revivalmotoring.com. We might have some others back next week. We're just waiting on
We've
final
had some real
answers.
impressive results.
Correct.
Real impressive.
We're waiting to cross the T's and dot the lowercase J's.
Get that contract.
And yeah, we'll go from there. With that said, I think we can
If you'd like to leave a callback number, press 2.
cue the callbacks. A couple of quick callbacks, kind of a ad in a way as well.
Oh boy.
2 new podcasts were dropped just this week.
Oh Jesus.
Talking Motorcycles came out with a new episode. So that's up
Tom
there.
and the boys over there.
Tom again stretching his legs, getting out there with the people. He interviewed the gentleman's name is Matt,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a very, let's say, well-traveled photo that Matt was involved in the motorcycle world a couple of years ago, and the story on that is quite interesting. It was very, very good discussion between Matt and Tom. So it brings things to that motorcycle world that I certainly am not invested enough to know, but it's very, very entertaining. What's the word I'm looking for? None the least.
Yes.
Something like that. I think that's where I was going. So the Talking Motorcycles is out, so go listen to that. Also, Topics Under the Stairs with your host, John Stairs, released their first episode, so go check that out. Believe it or not, talks about plants. I don't really care about plants, but I was still entertained.
So much for Stairway to Heaven. My goddamn title.
So
This is going to be a religious John Stairs podcast about how to get to heaven. But I guess we're waiting on that one. Development deal is
that
still
one-
going through.
Right, still trying to sort the paperwork with that. But no, John's Topics Under the Stairs podcast is going to be releasing episodes every Monday. He already has a couple more in the bag that he's recorded. That podcast is, again, going to allow us to talk about some things that we can't talk about here.
Where can you
essentially.
find it right now? Because I can't get it on my podcast thing.
iTunes
I
and
use Pocket
Spotify right
Casts.
now.
Okay.
iTunes, Spotify up now. It's submitted to Google. We have it approved through Google, but it's not appearing on
I think
their
once it gets
player.
to Google, it gets to my thing.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
So, again, that's Topics Under the Stairs. And the idea with that is John's going to talk to people in the car world, but not necessarily about their car stuff. So, for instance, he's got Zach D coming up.
Zach D.
They get into car stuff a little bit, but generally talk about his, I believe it's Dividing Designs. I think it's on there somewhere. I can't remember.
Double D.
But he also made us some awesome, Zach D made us some awesome coasters for the studio, as well as a wooden sign that we had hung up on their on the studio door previously.
It's a really cool logo for it too.
Oh yeah, no, everything he makes over there is
cool
super
guy.
cool. So essentially, John's podcast is he's gonna talk to people in the automotive realm, but again, not necessarily about cars all the time. So it allows us to, go down some paths that we may deviate at times on this podcast.
We never get sidetracked, though. So
Never, no.
But this gives us an outlet to go there and talk about them, whether it's ghosts, conspiracy theories, plants,
conspiracy theories.
food. That's coming up very soon. So yeah, it's just something that somewhat ties in, but is a little bit different. So go subscribe to that podcast as well.
We should do just a straight conspiracy theory podcast. We'd lose every listener.
We would be kicked off the internet.
Yeah, it would be amazing.
First hour of the
I'm
first
so deep
episode.
right now.
So you have to have them beforehand to just get it out of the system, huh?
Exactly. Last callback
Yes.
from me. Let me open this up. Is actually from John at Bag Riders.
John for Bag Riders.
Shouts to John.
Shouts to John.
He says, I got a callback for you.
Call back for you.
You were talking about cars under $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
They picked up a 2009 750 Li for $9,000.
Listen, that is only going to remain under $10,000 for maybe 3-4 days.
And he
Not
said,
even.
Yeah.
it is a goddamn spaceship. I believe the original sticker to be north of $100,000. So I classify this as a smoking deal.
Oh no,
It's gonna be
no.
smoky.
And
He's
not
got,
just because it smoked like a chimney when we got it. Under the hood, they stuffed a twin turbo hot V8. The cabin has more space than my college dorm room. And I'm fairly certain there are more electrical connections in the rear seat and parcel shelf than there are in my entire WRX, with features like night vision, pedestrian detection, power adjustable everything, massaging seats. It's got it all. All the stuff somehow is still working in ours, at least for now.
is this your first German car?
So
Because those are all points of failure.
I am truly
failure points.
matter of fact, I believe they get into that.
I'm so worried for him.
I believe they get into that a little bit on the Bag Riders YouTube channel, which everybody should go check out. And I'm very interested to see how this continues.
It
and
is-
how it goes and where it goes.
It's wild how, and we've talked about it before, how much money, how much value a 7 Series loses even like a year on. If you're looking at a 10-year-old 7 Series, there's so much shit in it that even modern stuff doesn't have.
Yeah.
But my God, you talk about it being alien technology, you have to then somehow harness the alien technology to fix anything that goes wrong. And
It's one of those ones, you know,
it could be so cool.
you know how we talk about B5 S4s?
Yeah.
And it's like, no matter what you pay for the car, or if somebody gives it to you for free, it's $10,000
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Wait till that 7 Series radio only plays the previous owner's Kenny Loggins stuff stored in MP3 format on the hard drive.
But
You
the
know?
German edition.
or it's David Hasselhoff covering it.
Kenny Loggins covered by Diesel Hasselhoff.
Or it just starts massaging something that you don't want massaged.
Dude, it's just...
Just awkwardly on one thigh.
I know that my M5 is like 6 years old now, and I'm just waiting for features to go where I just don't even bother trying to fix them. Because once it breaks 5 years, once the feature goes, it's gone.
It's
That's
just-
never coming back.
It's gonna
It's gonna happen this winter. Like it does weird stuff. The radio resets sometimes. I don't know
It
why.
just happens.
Well, it's like they were talking about on Top Gear with the Jag E-Type, where they just would release technology way before. You're like, wow, that came out then. It never worked really, but it had appeared.
Yeah,
it was in there.
Well,
Yeah.
Jag E-Type future technology is like a 2010 having heated seats. Like, oh my God, how'd they manage this? Actually light a fire under the seat. Yeah, because I know when I start, if I go up to the hill and I let my car sit all day, when I go to drive it home, the stereo resets 5 times before the car gets warm enough for the stereo to
It
stay
does
on.
some stuff. Yeah,
And that's a
it
car
starts
under
to-
warranty. If you ever bring it to the dealership, they'll never be able to replicate it, and you're fucked.
They did it, but they just, that doesn't happen.
No, can't replicate it.
That's a frustrating point with all modern stuff. Is just the inability to replicate.
You know what is really
problems.
frustrating with though? 7 Series.
Oh yeah, even more so. 7
Oh my
Series, right.
God. That's awesome. That's going to be a hilarious car to play around with. Hopefully you don't have to drive it every day.
Yeah, no, I think it's a bag rider's project. So, fortunately, somebody doesn't rely on it for the daily commute.
They're going to put bags on it?
I believe so. Yeah, I'd imagine
I
so.
know.
It's
Nice.
gonna look like a game of Hagman as the features just get checked off on this goes down the list.
Right, here's what we're left with. It
We have
starts.
half the power steering in one wheel.
It used to be able to translate Japanese.
We don't have any lights anymore. It's
Can you
just,
turn the volume up by doing this?
you know,
you do the Italian volume.
you know,
Hey, turn it up.
when it changes from a massage to just a sensual caress, that's it. Just
Dude, it's my
might be losing voltage somewhere.
That's my favorite. My favorite weird feature is the Italian volume. It's like when my mom starts talking with her hands and the volume's going up and down, calling people.
Yeah, just are you yelling at me or what's happening?
Yeah,
I don't.
Why is the
understand.
car cheering up the volume every time I get on the phone? Hey, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a good thing the speed cruise control doesn't operate via hand gestures.
Yeah, exactly. That's next though. Let's hope they get that going. This thing just surges uncontrollable.
Perfectly fine. Just let's go. Let's go.
It's
let's
like
keep
remember
it
when
rolling.
they figured all the Priuses had a
the
unintended acceleration,
fast pedal.
but then they realized everyone that owns a Prius is super old and just accidentally hits the gas. And it took like a dozen of them for them to be like, well, there's no data showing anyone trying to hit a brake. It's just everybody flooring it. And it's like, oh, wrong pedal.
100% throttle.
Most of the time that happens. That's what happens. That's what happened with the Priuses.
Is that what it was? I
Yeah.
honestly didn't. I just knew about it. Obviously, it was a thing on the
That's
news.
how they
but-
resolved it. It's called natural selection. Everybody that would do that, off they went.
That's because how like old people just drive with gas on or gas off. Gas
Right,
on,
it's like a light
gas
switch.
off.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful.
Just like a light switch. That's all. That is it for my callbacks. I don't know if anybody else has any.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So I found out the other day that my M5, which I've had for 3 years now, has the thing where if you kick your foot under it, the trunk opens. Did I talk about this last time?
No.
It's fucking phenomenal.
You just
That's-
discovered this feature.
You know what? I was messing around with the car, and the hood started beeping and closed. The trunk started beeping and closing on me, and I was like, "Wait, what? It has this?"
Did you?
And I couldn't get it to redo it, and then I realized it's an option. And so then I realized to do it on a Beamer, you have to like very quickly like jab your foot under it, and that makes it do it.
Okay.
So needless to say, I have not opened my trunk in any other way since I figured this out.
Just Bruce Lee
And
kicks the whole
next
time.
week it's gonna stop working.
Probably, yeah. Or it's going to just cut me in
So
half
that-
when I go in there to grab something.
That was my first question. Did you think something stopped working?
Well, I did the old test where I put a hot dog in it to see if it would cut
Right,
my
to
penis
give-
off if I ever got it in there.
Well, actually, you're.
Because I figured that's the only reason people do that.
I'm gonna be honest.
And it will. It will.
That's kind of a spot. Like
It's like Manscaped gone wild, you know?
Slice dogs.
I mean,
Sliced dogs.
you just picture it. It's a nice, morning. There's some dew on the parking lot. You go out there and you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna run out real quick. I don't need to cloth up.
Yeah.
Let me just go handle this.
Yeah, and then I got to get something out of the depths of the trunk.
Right, you
And
lean
I'm flinging flailing my feet around like I regularly do when I'm deep in the trunk, kicking under, and off it goes. That cut my whole body in half.
Lean in a little too far.
Dude, my father-in-law, who's a great man, I was dropping him off once at where he lived. I had the kids in the car, and he went to say bye to the kids when my car's got soft closed doors, and it's soft closed on his finger, and he just walked away because he grew up beyond the Iron Curtain, so nothing would ever phase this man or make
Right.
him say ouch.
Right.
And then the next time I saw him, his whole finger was mashed, and I was just like, oh man, keep the kids away from the soft closed doors. And I was like, well, how many fingers? Like, well, when you dropped me off yesterday, which is not what he sounds like at all, I get the finger caught in the door. And I was like, oh, you didn't say anything? He's like, no. But it was just like, it was bandaged for like a week. I think it took the top off. Yeah, so you throw a hot dog in there, it wouldn't even, there'd be no hot dog
clean,
left.
Thankfully, hopefully, it's a clean cut.
Yeah, which one's got more slicing power, the door or the trunk?
I think the trunk has more momentum to it. That's why there's a beep. There's no beep on the door. But I'll tell you what, like,
gives you that warning shot.
If you're walking around
Like 1 second
unsheathed,
before it closed.
if you're walking around unsheathed, you do not want a BMW with comfort access package.
Right. Or else it will be uncomfortable package.
Yeah,
Or smaller package.
yeah, it would.
Yeah. Troubled package.
Yeah, not helpful. And so then I find out my wife's car has it too. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna try this. Like, holy shit,
Just slanging it around.
dude, my E30 has it. No.
It does, yeah. You just let it go.
Yeah, so if you get a chance, try that out with your car. Just give it a quick and throw a hot dog in there, see if it makes it
I was
through.
just gonna say, make sure you're.
I don't know what the limit is. Maybe I should Instagram video what happens if you put a hot dog in the soft close trunk.
Start with a cucumber,
Yes.
just to be on the safe side. Just
I could just use different things.
just
Do
really
you know
see.
how quickly that option would delete itself? It'd be the first hot dog. It'd be like, nope.
In all seriousness,
No, I wrecked the hot dog. I'm just never doing this
In
again.
all seriousness,
Chuck's
I know
at the
we have.
dealership trying to warranty it. So there's a couple of food items. I was bringing groceries in,
I
and
can't
all of it got stuck
Were you-
in the door.
I
this
can't
way.
open the trunk anymore. You might find a kielbasa, half a kielbasa in there when you open it. I don't know how that happened.
A stick of pepperoni.
Was
some
somebody-
Vienna sausages.
We tried a whole plethora of sausages across the rear bumper.
Just stacking meats.
Excuse me, sir. Were you using a slap chop in the trunk?
You know how it be.
Now,
Yeah,
the worst part
carrot,
is now it
cucumber.
was lock, and then it'd be all sitting in there for a while. You're like, I finally opened my trunk. It's not good in there.
Let's see if it happened to you, and you had to reattach, and you can't get the trunk open. Then you're in trouble. Before you do this, I would suggest putting the rear ski pass through down, and
Right,
maybe
just in
having a child in there or something to pull the thing. Put your kid in there first, right?
Preferably not in the path of resistance.
No,
if you will.
Make sure it's way deep in there.
Just terrorize them as like,
And yeah, put the hot dogs in. The kid won't reach for the hot dog, right? That would solve the hot dogs falling out if the kid just held them gingerly.
You could use tape too.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but tape's not going to be the open the hood release if it goes the trunk release if it goes wrong.
That's true. We do have some BMW technicians out there. I do wonder if if it senses any resistance, if it just stops itself and goes back.
Oh, I mean,
up.
we'll find out as soon as we're done recording. We can go right now. We can pause it. We got any sausage in the fridge?
yeah.
Yeah, Ben, you have a hot dog.
dogs.
We'll get some Oscar
Yeah,
Myers.
actually, they got those at the corner store. Yeah.
So it leads me to think, what other options does this vehicle have that I don't know about?
Perhaps.
My wife's car's got automatic high beams. I'm so butthurt I don't have that.
Oh, see,
My X5 had that.
my car has that, but they've just stopped working.
Yeah, there you go. Option delete.
At one point, I'm just like, well, all right, so my high beams are on, and I'm just flashing everybody all the time, so I'm going to turn that feature off.
As someone who daily drives 1994 technology,
Mhm.
when I get into a newer vehicle, they are a little bit of a mind fuck. Because the one that really bothers me is that lane assist, where the steering changes depending on how fast
I had to turn that off. Yeah,
I can't deal with it because
Yeah.
it's like you're just going along, you're used to feeling the road and just kind of compensating for it, and the steering wheel's pulling you in different
right. It's
directions.
that bit of it's an uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah.
it's just this. No. I'm in charge, not you. Fuck off.
Really weird, and especially how it whether you have the directional on and how the steering actually changes the way it feels depending on how fast you're going, whether you've been going in a straight line, whether you've turned recently or anything.
Power steering.
Yes.
Yeah,
Real
depending
power.
on how
What
fast
do
you go,
mean,
the speed.
electronic power steering?
Why is it so easy to park?
I don't know, man. You were talking about 6 speeds today. I don't know if I believe your 1995 story. I haven't seen a 6-speed in decades.
Oh my god, those things are loud.
6-speed
Those
privilege.
Things, those things.
So
Put those things in your pocket. They're
I
loud.
recently rented a vehicle. I went to rent a. What did I try to rent? I tried to rent a Cadillac,
Those things.
and I ended up getting a BMW X1. And just quick recap, X1 was great.
Small, right?
Current generation X1.
Oh god.
Even the one that
It was
quiet.
small, but the back seemed squared off more than the previous one. Was my sister has a previous one.
Yeah.
It was all right, man. I don't know. I was kind of I wasn't into it. Wouldn't buy one, but it was nice enough. That's my review of vehicles I don't give a shit about. BMW X1,
I'm just
nice
curious.
enough.
So, BMW on BMW's website, they are the sports activity vehicle.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's what it's
it
called.
felt extra sporty.
It was, yeah.
I think it's the front wheel drive based one because it felt I mean, you know what? It drove good for. It's probably not actually cheap. I was gonna say for a cheap vehicle, but it's probably really expensive.
So that's what I was truly just looking at. Let's see, explore models. It looks like it only comes in 2 variants of both 228 horsepower. X1 starting at $35,400.
Get me a Lotus Elise at that point.
Talk about sporty.
Also, if you're looking, Hertz no longer has any cool cars, so sorry.
I don't know what Hertz has at all. To be quite
I got one
honest.
BMW X1. I rented a Cadillac XTS and I didn't have it, and I was like, well, I think I'm gonna bitch. And then I realized there was another BMW X1 on like the podium where like they usually put like Lamborghinis and stuff. I was like, oh, it's hard times over here. I'm not gonna complain about this thing. So it was interesting, but like even to get a Chrysler, I usually like to do a Chrysler 300 or a Challenger. They wanted $300 a day for a Chrysler 300. That's literally the monthly payment on one of those things. I should have just gone to a dealership, got one, and just never paid for it.
Leased it for a year.
I should have taken it for a year.
Use this every time.
Let
I
me get a year
travel.
lease. It's $250 a month. Yeah, all right.
All right.
Done deal.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna rent it for 5 days,
Thanks for
but I
my
figured
rent.
I'd just own one for a year.
Thanks for my rental car. Did you have the S Drive? Was it
What's that mean?
X1 S Drive 28i? Is that what you remember?
Let me see. I took a picture of it because I was like, oh, the boys might ask me about this thing.
It's
I wonder what Corey rented when he was down in China. It looks to
nothing. I don't think
be.
you rented anything.
I don't know. I don't know what it was. I'm sure it was the cheaper one.
Yeah. Which the
Had
S
auto
Drive.
high beams though, unlike my car.
Right. Did
Still mad.
Son of bitch.
Did
Son
you
of
know
bitch.
if it cut the sausage in the back though?
Oh, it cut the sausage, all right, buddy. Yeah, that's how I first got
Is
interested.
that where you discovered it? Like,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
has it. Okay.
Not good.
What else do we have for callbacks?
Oh, let's see here. You know what? I wanted to put this out there. I put it out there before, and I've seen a lot of violations recently, and I sent it to the boys today. Show us your bays. It's happening. It's going wild. The amount of cars I see on Instagram, which sucks, by the way, but the amount of cars I see on Instagram that are all like pimped out, if you will, and then there's not a single picture of the engine bay. I'm talking to you, R32 through 34 GTR owners. It's ridiculous.
It's a bit of a
I've seen like 3 of them recently. I sent you guys 2 of them. I'm just like, there's no pictures of the engine bays of these cars.
not.
Like,
It's like
what the hell?
like does it have a motor? It just doesn't.
Yeah, so we got to bring Show Us Your Bays back.
Yeah.
You know,
Let's kick it off again this week.
yeah, man, if you got,
Now's as good a time as any.
yeah, if you
You're
got
bored.
a car, even if it's a stock bay, let the people know.
We just got to
Or
confirm
horse.
you have
Yeah.
motors or something under there. Shouts Tesla Beamer. I don't care. Take a picture of whatever's under there. Doesn't matter.
Let me see what's under there.
Yeah.
Because these things were like, these guys were Instagram clout masters, you know?
right.
And I was like, oh, there's no pictures of bays. There's no dyno sheets. There's no pictures even on the dyno.
You get some nice mouse nests at this time of year.
Yeah, you could. Man,
Now's the
little
time.
little
Open it
mouse
up.
house?
Oh yeah, mouse houses.
Show us your mouse house.
Open it up. Pluck them out. No free rent.
Your fall leaf collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what's going on in there. But yeah, I don't know. I nothing turns me off more than when I open your Instagram page, go scrolling, creeping back, like looking for a bikini shot, but of your bay.
Right, it's like the equivalent of a MySpace angle, just like
Yeah.
no bay.
Yeah, no bay. Here's 3,000 photos of like my car on extremely expensive wheels. No bay shot.
If you want to play,
Show us your bay. Yeah, you're not fooling anyone.
yeah.
That's all I need you to know.
Right.
You can keep on not showing your bay.
And it's okay.
You ain't fooling me.
Stock
it's fine.
bay. Stock bay, fine.
Hey, if you don't want to show your bay, just know everybody's judging you.
They tens, but I keep them clean.
If you get an R35, like I know your bay looks like everybody else's bay, even if it's got 1,400 horse. You know,
FX45.
let's see it anyway.
Q70. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're all gonna look the same. Bunch of
All
plastic.
look the same, but let's see
Yeah.
the bay.
Yeah.
Or don't show us your bay, but no.
Shouts Kelvin.
Shouts to Kelvin. Love R35s.
Kelvin, we want to see your bay.
I keep on seeing R35s doing crazy things like 6-second quarter miles, etc.
That one that was it you or Corey sent to us
Corey
today?
sent that, and it almost
Yeah.
has me thinking maybe I shouldn't get a Viper
And you should get a GTR.
I should just get a GTR. But I don't think GTRs are making 2,000 plus horse. I know some are, but I know every Viper's making over 2,000 horsepower.
I mean, who's the king of the Texas highway right now?
Viper.
No,
No, GTR.
GTR, yeah.
GTR's king of the Texas highway.
the red one.
Oh,
Did you see that one? I don't
It's
know if
not
you-
even super fancy. It's just fast
It's
as
just
shit.
yeah, it's just
Yeah, I don't know. But wasn't the Viper faster? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm sure somebody could debate me.
There's going to be a point where you're not making
If
up
they-
for the fact that the Viper motor's twice the size.
Well,
Right?
here's
Right.
the important question: can you get a Predator motor into a Nissan Murano?
You can squeeze a Predator into anything.
It's fun. it's funny you say that. We have some Predator news.
No, we can't do news yet. I'm
No,
not
no.
even halfway through my callbacks.
I'm not gonna say it, but we do have some Predator news. I'll just leave
Is
it
that
at-
why Corey's not here? And next week we're having Chris Hansen on.
Please have a
It's the
seat.
same topic. It's the
That's
update
why-
on the van and Predator news.
Joe Booth, you want some brownies?
I already got offered candy and I passed on that. I think I'm
It's
just
just, it's just from the van.
Hashtags aren't working on Instagram. Little message in from Tanya. Great news. Fuck
Oh
Instagram.
yeah. Oh wait, another thing that's not right because they took that away from us too.
Oh, I used to have a lot of people reach out to me on my Facebook for the podcast shit. I deleted my Facebook because Facebook sucks.
Yeah.
So reach out to me on Instagram or which I'll probably delete soon, or reach out to me at chuckhoo@revivalmotoring.com.
Email.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
We're
I
going
found-
old school pretty soon.
If I'm honest, the only reason I ever started it back in the day was to promote my gigs, and there aren't any gigs anymore. So I was like, why am I even dealing with this
It's a
shit?
bit lacking.
So yeah, if you hit me up on that stuff, I'll probably keep my Instagram around just to hit people up back and forth. But man, ugh, the whole world sucks.
Ugh is right.
Not the whole world doesn't suck. Cars still fucking rule. If we're being honest,
That's quite
Cars still
true.
rule.
Yeah, yeah. Matter of
why I'm
fact, there's a quick callback. I'm picking up the long sleeve shirts, the campaign shirts tomorrow, or I'm gonna try to pick them up tomorrow. Should have them in hand,
Yeah.
and be shipping those out literally tomorrow night. So
Today I went on a wonderful little car ride with the one and the only Corey.
yep.
Thanks to, yeah, he came by, stayed the hell away from me, and then
Yep.
we went for a ride through out near my place through these Connecticut back roads. Jesus, thank God for those back roads. And I've got some real deal cruises planned once things turn around next spring.
Yep.
I'm sorry, not too early. Spring 2022. But I got some good social distancing cruises planned that we can do. I really don't want to blow these runs up because there's some really nice roads out that way.
Yeah.
But man, it was raining and we were still having a blast, which says a lot because I'm out trashing my E28 out there and I don't even care.
Was he in the Polo or what was he in?
No, he was in the 128. I think that the ditch finders in the Polo might not have been great on these roads.
In the rain.
In the rain. There was one point we went up some leaves. I was like, "Well, it's getting loose." So, it rocked actually, man. It was a lot of fun. And what the hell else is going on? Also, final this weekend's events. I saw what are they? Land Rover Defender
Yes.
110 this weekend.
Yep.
I'm not an SUV guy, but it did it for me, man.
Did it have the snorkel on the outside?
No, there was no snorkel.
Must be-
It was
must be
white.
a snorkel option.
Yeah, snorkel must be an option.
Yeah.
It was white. It was big. I don't like admitting to how much I like that SUV.
It was big,
It was big.
bigger than my Explorer.
It had a bigger presence than your Explorer.
Oh, well, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, larger penis. For sure.
They call it a snorkel.
It was a 110.
Larger snorkel.
It was a 110, so I think it was bigger than the Explorer.
I
Maybe it
was
was the
just-
size of
yeah.
the Explorer.
In a 2-door, right? Was it 2? Are they?
It was a 4-door.
Okay.
They
it's
make a
4-door.
2-door, I think, too.
I was going to say, I think
It wasn't mine, so I did get inside of it.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get inside of it. It was just parked outside of a hotel.
Poked around.
I was like, wow, that looks cool. It looks beefy. You know what? The thing is, though, like, if you've had the pleasure of, like, seeing an old Defender,
yeah.
like, that's something you see, you're like, holy shit, that thing's cool. Like, it's like seeing an H1, but, like, way rarer, because you can
Yeah,
go
yeah.
see H1s every now and then. But it was like, those things were just so boxy and cool. Someone came by our house in Poland with one with, like, bench seats in the back. It was
Yeah.
so cool. But this thing's, I'm definitely in. I'd buy it over a Bronco or a
Really?
Wrangler. Yeah. But it's probably triple the price, I'd assume.
Uh,
No, but that wouldn't, because it's English.
Especially with the older ones, they always look like they're
Shout
just
to English,
going
Ben.
to
Jesus
Jurassic
Christ,
Park.
young Ben. Your only device that you need to look stuff up, you just dropped.
With the old one, Jurassic Park. Oh, yeah.
No, those weren't. But the people riding inside of them.
Oh
what
yeah,
they're
yeah.
going
It looks like it came straight out of Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah,
Or
they-
you're going on some type of tactical mission,
So that's what I was going to
Yes.
say.
which
The-
is
the
pretty
old
much every
ones-
time I go anywhere.
the old
Very
one-
tactical.
The old ones just look more utility based.
Hmm.
Yeah, they don't look particularly comfortable as far as like I would not want to be riding around in one of those in the winter.
You know what's surprisingly, maybe not surprisingly, wildly uncomfortable? G-Wagons. If you sit in a G-Wagon, I have a friend that's a connoisseur of G-Wagons and has way too many of them, because if you want one running G-Wagon, you get to own 5.
So, all right, there we go. Hold on. Sorry. I get distracted.
That's right.
Defender 110 starts at $50,000.
Okay.
That's
like... That's
110S.
oh, no, that's
goes
way
up
more
to-
than Bronco.
Goes up to 53.8. 110 SE 62. Oh Jesus. 110 X Dynamic SE 65. Defender 110 X Dynamic HSE 71. Defender 110 X 83. Wow. Okay, that's
What's
the one.
the 9,000? Just what's the top?
Yeah, give me the big
that's
dog.
Defender 110X.
What's that do for me?
Extremely tough in practically any environment.
Yeah, I don't need that. I'm just going on the road and stuff
You would buy a Hilux anyways.
every time. Anyways, about G-Wagons being wildly uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
it's you sit in those things like you're about to jump out and chase after someone. That's like the sitting
you're
position.
just
It's like, oh!
ready for battle.
Like if you had a rifle over your arm, you'd be
Yeah.
totally fine.
I tell you that Corey and I at the auto show a year or two, who knows how long ago, we lost all things this year. So
Yeah.
the year when we had things,
Yes.
we sat in one, closed the door, and we were just encapsulated. We were in
Yeah.
a vacuum.
But you guys were sitting like straight up, like
I was in the mid seat. Yeah, I think
You were
it
in
was
the
straight-
middle?
I was in the middle. I think I can't remember how I sat.
who was on either side of you?
Well, no, just in the middle, like the back seat, not the back seat,
Bench.
but not the front seat, but the back seat.
Wait, G-Wagons don't have 3 rows, do they?
Yeah, this is multi-row. G-Wagon?
G-Wagon?
Yeah, big old G-Wagon.
I don't think they had a 3rd row.
I don't know, third row, middle row, or maybe just the back
How's
row.
it the middle row if there's not a 3rd row?
It could have just been the back row.
All right, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
you were
yeah, yeah.
you went through the back doors
Side
and you were
doors
sitting between 2 men in the middle.
with guns. I don't know what we
This
were
sounds
doing.
like
This wasn't SEMA.
This sounds like a different event altogether. Oh, it wasn't a car
wait,
show.
wait. Those science experiments were on me. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. That was-
Skiing.
And then the bag went over my head. No big deal.
then I lost 3 days. I don't know what happened.
So as I was saying, we're driving down the South American highway in between 2 men in a G-Wagon.
I had a
And they said we were going skiing.
couple bags of something. there was
Oh, fine.
a couple bags shoved somewhere.
Yeah. Anyways, I woke up in southern Arizona. Well,
So yes, Josh, you definitely think riding in a G-Wagon is very uncomfortable.
yeah, that sounds wildly uncomfortable.
This makes perfect
You
sense
should
now.
You can't even imagine the aches when he woke up.
I didn't even know where I was.
Wasn't even that long of a trip.
Somehow nude.
Through a tunnel.
Had a lot of bruises.
I mean, that proves it. Corey's the thing that holds this thing on the rails.
What else do we have for callbacks?
God, I should have another energy drink.
High energy.
All I got is deep thoughts.
All right.
It's not even that deep of a thought. It was more of a mini topic.
Shallow thought.
I was thinking a thought, and I've
Okay.
said this thought before, but it's about cars you don't really like until you see it in real life. All right? I was talking with some buddies yesterday, and, R33s just came in the country, and they were talking about how much they don't like them, and I didn't really like them until I saw them in real life.
Mm-hmm.
I think they look really cool. If you took a second-generation Eclipse, which is the worst car ever, which Josh owned, and then,
I had first gen.
oh, you had the best car ever.
Flip up lights.
If you take a
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
second-generation Eclipse, which is the worst car ever, which Josh did not
that
own,
was the bubble.
the Bubble Boys, the Fat Boys.
Yeah.
And if that car actually looked good and fucked, it would be an R33 GTR. What I'm trying to say is 90s design language is like really, really good in R33 GTR,
Except on the second gen Eclipse.
except on seconds in Eclipse. But they look really good in real life.
Well,
They
the-
look weird in pictures.
The problem with the Eclipse
I
is,
think it was Derek's Medium Performance's car was
yeah,
the
yeah.
first one I really saw, and I was like, wow, that
Yeah.
looks really good.
The problem with the Eclipse is it's not a Lancer.
Yes. Yeah, that was the primary issue
That was the main
throughout
one.
their run range with the Eclipse.
That's generally
Except for the
biggest
third
issue.
gen. Great cars.
Third gen.
No, those are the terrible with the golf cart motor.
Those are the ones that are even worse. And then the fourth gen with those weird ass looking headlights and mirrors and shit. Yeah. Oh God.
Oh, the third gen was really bad. I was thinking of the fourth one. The third gen was like the Testarossa scalloping.
Just yeah.
Is that the one that like when Altezza was just big on everything and they were like slap them on?
Oh yeah,
exactly. That's the one. Yeah, yeah. That's oh God.
So the only person who liked it was Tyrese.
Bad.
Are you Tyrese enough?
No, I'm not. Definitely not Tyrese enough to get in that car.
Look, man,
Straight faced.
We got this great movie role for you. The only problem is you have to drive this.
Yeah. Shit. I think Tyrese was about it. I don't think he was very big into cars back then.
I'm gonna need another $1 million.
Listen, if you got hooked into that franchise,
yeah, that guy's
he's still in it now. Yeah,
that guy's an American treasure.
Now he's
stick me in a Prius. Let's do this.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Let's make it happen, baby.
Put me in a G-Wagon with some other dudes. I don't care.
So where are we going? South America? So anyways, R33 GTR for me was a car that like I never really liked until I saw it in real life, and I was like, wow, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any car you didn't like until you saw it in real life?
And you were like, wow, that's cool. I was initially offended by the new Supra.
Yes, I get that.
That in person turned out way better than I could have imagined. And then I'm currently offended by the new M3.
Yes, that I'm hoping that when I'm getting less offended every podcast, I get less offended by the new M3.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that when we finally BMW gives us one, or otherwise when we go by a dealership that has one in stock and look through the outside windows,
and I can press my tongue against the glass.
I will like it a little bit more.
Right.
So I have an unpopular opinion.
Well, you like Mark III's.
Yeah. Well, I really, really was looking forward to the new Corvette, and then I saw one in person, and I didn't find it as awe-inspiring as I thought I was going to.
You're right.
It's really, I mean, don't get me wrong, for a Corvette, it's still really cool to see it, and it has a much better presence. However, it wasn't as awesome as the buildup was. I kind of rolled past me. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's very different looking. It's not a Corvette. But it's like a crappy Italian supercar.
It's very sharp.
It's a crappy Italian supercar.
it's almost,
you know what? I think
it's like a Lotus.
I think it will be resolved with like that's exactly what Lotus went to build, a crappy Italian supercar. It'll be resolved with the Z06 because they'll make it so ridiculously aggressive.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I think you look at C7 vets, especially the aggressive ones, they look better than C8 vets.
But I think that's kind of the problem we've seen, like with the Supra. Again, like the base version of what we're seeing come out is, it's cool, but it doesn't have that finish that 90s design language had, where it was just much more aggressive and committed to being aggressive.
Right.
Versus it's kind of like they kind of step out with it, and then the tuner community is going to build some body kits.
You want it to be aggressive yet subtle. Right. It needs a subtlety
because
the C8 is very aggressive at every angle.
Is that where we're at, though? Like, nobody can get it right. It's either way too aggressive or not aggressive enough.
Right. I mean,
it's does that have to do with tighter safety standards, manufacturing?
What's like just perfectly aggressive right now? I can think of a car that we can't get here that's part of my news and stuff that I don't want to get into.
Perfectly aggressive. Jaguar Project 8. It's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, it's a very expensive. Okay,
but it's very expensive.
I saw a Civic Type R today. I was like, that car appeals. The car itself, the driving experience I hear of on it appeals to me.
Yeah,
but I couldn't.
It's just too aggressive.
And I love big wings. Look at all my cars. But there's too much canard and bullshit on that where someone older than 25 isn't going to buy the car. And if you are older than 25 and have one, God bless you. I just couldn't commit to it.
You buy the poster, that's it.
I don't want shapes. I don't want a polygon to meet a polygon on the back of a vehicle. And that's seemingly what happens with a lot of stuff today. Instead of wide yet smooth.
I think the previous or the currently on sale generation M3, the 4-door.
The F series, right?
Whatever it is. No one can keep track of that shit. Is perfectly aggressive.
Yes, I'd agree with that. Yeah, because
it's not too over the top. They do make crazy ones that are. But if you get like the normal one, maybe whatever what's the competition package? Which
I think the best way to describe it, in my mind anyway, is when if you were to take a 3 Series and put it near an M3, you or I, or anybody in here would probably go, oh, that's a 3 Series, there's an M3. But a non-car person would look and go, what's the difference?
And then there's the great under-aggressiveness, which is like an E63 AMG wagon, where it looks kind of aggressive, but it's not.
Yeah,
but
small,
that's the only thing, and I know I'm a sucker for BMW, but I can't think of anything else that's just like what's perfectly like, okay, right there. Where in the 90s and stuff, you had like cars like that. Like the E36 M3,
Miatas.
I think was perfectly aggressive.
Miatas right now.
The RF one.
The
one's-
hardtop R.
That's true.
That's a nice, like, not too over the top.
It's a daily drivable level of aggressive.
It's just right.
Yeah.
It's just got a little bit of a little bit of sportiness to it, I guess.
John Orr in the chat room, M2 is nicely aggressive, and he's right.
That's very true. Yeah.
We drove by a house today, Corey and I, that had in the driveway a Civic Type R, a Focus RS, and an EcoBoost Mustang. So it's just like, what? Pick one.
Was Top Gear there filming?
I mean, they're all cool cars.
Recently priced cars across America.
Yeah.
Raptor, perfectly aggressive. Another John Orr. I think it's overly aggressive. The
Raptor's really
problem with the Raptors, they've made. I do like the way it looks, and I like that it's super aggressive. The problem is all the other F-150s now look super aggressive. It's not a Raptor, but it kind of is.
Yeah, Raptor package.
It's like throwing M3 mirrors on a non-M3.
Right.
Well, it's basically an M3. You see, I chipped it, so it makes as much horsepower.
Yeah.
And then I bought the badge.
That's where the badge came from. I saw something on Instagram. Some guy had an E30 M3, and he had a 325 IS badge under the M3 logo. And I thought, it's nice to see the reverse every now and then.
Yeah. The
Young Ben, what car didn't you like until you saw it in real life?
I don't know.
Think about that for a second. What color should the sign be?
Red.
Oh, red. Why red? A lot of enemies.
No, because it's almost been a year since the red GTI got crashed.
Oh, wow.
is that red from there?
That's
I
a
can't.
deep thought
I'm
there.
a little. Is that
It's
red
almost
enough?
been a year since Young Ben wrecked his red GTI, so it's going to be red.
Probably red on the can.
Yeah, that's red. Oh, we're good. That's fine. We don't need to debate that.
You guys haven't had a YB update in a long time.
No, he's here and he hasn't crashed into anything.
Yeah.
or eaten cake.
Yeah, I just lost a few. I've only lost a few coil packs.
Right, and we talked about talked about that on the show
Verz asks,
as that was happening.
what up with the brim on Joe? Does Young Ben have a pistol on him? And it's interesting you mentioned that because Young Ben did flex his weaponry when he was opening his Arizona tea earlier
right, yeah, so
with a knife.
Who opens Arizona iced tea with a fucking blade?
He just wanted Joe to know we don't fuck around over here in East Providence.
He shows up with his hunting knife and opens the fucking
AP trying to get stabbed.
Rambo. Over
Young
here.
Ben knew Paul V, our security, was out of the building, so
Yeah.
he had to represent, had to regulate a little bit.
Young Ben, why are you trying to open that with a machete?
He's gonna shoot it open next podcast. Oh, I always open my my cans with my Glock.
With a 6-shooter.
Anyways, Young Ben doesn't have any cars he saw in real life that he liked more than on pictures.
I would say probably R33 because I never liked them in pictures. I always thought they looked.
So the
Same.
one Chuck
Too round.
just talked about 5
Yeah,
minutes
that's
ago.
the only thing I can think of.
Listen, I'm not
it's
going
a
to
good-
toot my own horn, but beep beep.
That's a good question because I'm sure there's other ones that I'm missing too. But that's a good one.
Is Ben in War Rack? The rap group. Yes,
God.
yes. In fact, Verge, he is in War
my
Rack.
God, I know
Those are our
exactly.
boys. They're waiting outside.
The-
That's why Ben has a knife on him.
Yeah, seriously. The fact that I know who that is
I'm not going to lie to you.
both a negative and a positive.
They're the most successful Rhode Islanders since
Wait, they're
Batman.
They're from Rhode Island.
Yeah, they're from Warwick,
Oh my
aka
God.
War Rack, aka the most
name.
successful Rhode Islanders since Batman, Adam West.
Rocks.
Come at me, bro.
What else do we have for callbacks? Anything or cue the boys?
I don't think that's enough callbacks. Go ahead.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to answer your questions. And one of those questions is, what does a Predator come in? Anything it wants.
Anything it wants, buddy.
Because Ford will now offer the Shelby GT500 Predator V8 as a crate engine.
So you can literally put the Predator in anything.
You can put the
Chuck, do you want to put a Predator in the van?
Yeah, the back of the van. We did a rear
let's
engine
see.
conversion to the Predator. in our van.
Pricing and availability are not known yet. Predator likes to keep
Just
it
like in
secret.
real life, anything could be a predator. Don't
so,
judge a book by its cover.
Not to be outdone. Oh, where's my auto? God damn it, I lost.
Dodge has released
Not to be
the
outdone.
rapist engine.
I believe that's pronounced therapist.
Oh, whoops. That's a therapist motor.
Therapist motor. Dodge
Rest in peace.
Dodge Hellcat Red Eye V8 now available as Hellcrate engine from Mopar. 807 horsepower mill is the latest Dodge Source crate.
Is that better than the Hellefont, which you could pick up with a wheelbarrow at the Dodge dealership?
No, Bonkers. The Bonkers Hellefont makes 1,000 horsepower,
Yeah, you got to go Hellefont.
which checks in just under $30,000. However, this Hellcrate,
What's the Predator have for power?
807, I think.
Just raw emotion.
No, I think 807 was
A
the,
bad childhood.
Hold on. All right, yeah, 807 is the Hellcrate, and you can get that
Dad never loved them.
for $21,000 and $21,807. Whereas, oh yeah, there's no pricing.
The Predator's free.
The Predator.
The Predator is always free.
Just get in the back of the van.
Where's the fucking power for the Predator? I don't see it.
I told you, it's bad childhood.
No, I see the Hellefont, Hellcrate. Where's the Predator? Anybody out there who knows
Predator power? Doesn't
how
it make
powerful a Predator is.
727?
760.
760.
It will likely keep its performance rating of 760 horsepower for the Predator.
What's the Predator cost?
No pricing or availability.
And the Hellefont was 20 something?
No, the Hellefont was
Hellefont
30.
Okay.
but that makes 1,000, and the Hellcrate is 21, makes 807.
Is there a lower option? You get a 4-cylinder with a blower? What do you got for with a Whipple on a 4?
Let me get that 2-liter. I do not see one listed here. Actually, you know what? Ford might have, or on this article, it might have listed the rest of them. Nope, that's just that one. That's that one. No. So I don't know if there's any smaller ones available, but you got an extra $21,000. You can step right in there with the Hellcrate.
But we don't know where the Predator falls.
Not sure where the Predator falls. I'd assume it's going to be right around the same
Is a Hellcrate,
as the Hellcrate.
not the Hellefont.
Right.
So will they make a Super Predator?
If things go good for the regular one,
Yeah. They'll release a Super Predator into the wild.
yeah. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Put in a Viper.
Yeah, fucking do it.
Yeah. Predator Viper.
Predator Viper.
No, that would be the opposite. No, we
Predator
want.
Snake? No, different company.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
As Chuck tries to come up with a new name, let's move along.
Boys, I'll tell you what. In the world of motorsports, Lock City reigns supreme
Oh my God.
because Formula D just released a rule that requires cars that run night events to have Underglow.
Yep.
Just like the Underglow Nationals that Formula D has been running, Formula D that
Lock
Lock
City.
City
Yeah.
has been running for years.
And Lock City running full-on drift events in the snow. Amazing.
Driftness.
I drift miss. I was upset because I'm like, when is there going to be an opportunity to take photos of full-on drifting in the snow like that again?
With Underglow.
I missed it. I messed up.
But Formula D, man, that's wonderful. It's
So
hilarious.
night events are going Underglow. Yeah. Hey, bring it back.
You gotta.
I'm all for it.
So, yeah, thanks Lock City for making that happen.
Now add pyrotechnics,
Yep.
and we're really cooking here.
Isn't there another Lock City event coming up?
The 14th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Saturday.
This weekend.
Saturday. Yeah.
Can we finally go to this?
I was going to try. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but I was going to.
Oh, we should take the van.
I was going to give it a shot.
Next thing you know, Formula Drift's going to be like, we're going to install snow machines. It's a waterfall and snow machines.
Ice luge.
Oh, Jesus.
The old ice luge.
What else do we got? Oh, so another bit of news. The M3 and M4 is actually going into production right now. That's all I got.
It's going into production?
Yep. So it'll be out, I think, next spring is what when we may start seeing these things on the road or at dealerships.
When is it? Spring?
Spring of 2021. Well,
Optimistic.
very optimistic.
Wow.
Pending a lot of things. A lot of things have to fall into place.
Right.
But the M3 is currently in production at 2 different plants in Germany.
Do you
Germany.
order yours?
Germany, no. Nope.
Absolutely not.
I was not to But I was thinking, like, man, I really like those. I've been mentioning the Golf R, the new one, Mark 8.
Yeah.
And I was looking those up the other day. They're going to be priced at mid-40s.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of fucking money for that car.
Especially for a 4-cylinder.
That's
If it was a 5-cylinder, mid-40s. Here's the check.
Mid-40s at that point.
Also, it's the
why
bank's
not-
check, and I'm making payments on it.
Why not just,
172 months.
mid-40s? Maybe I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. But can you get an M2 for that?
Nope.
So there's still...
There's a lot of room.
Even a used one.
Get 2 Miatas.
You get 2 Miatas.
How many used Jeep Wranglers you want?
But if that thing starts to eke up to mid to high 40s, let's say 46, 47.
You're getting there. I mean,
Holy shit.
my brother has a current Gen 1, and I like it. I'd
Right.
probably buy one.
So, yeah, no, I 100%
Mid
would.
40s is getting there. It does have a drift mode.
Yep.
It does have more horsepower, but it's just a reflash away. Not that you can reflash anymore.
2018, well, now here's the debate, because what model do you want? M2. But 2018 BMW M2,
Oh, any M2 that's not a Volkswagen?
46.
Yeah. Wait, was that used?
Yeah.
You doing used to new right now?
2017, 42.
Clickbait.
That will, I mean, for that, but if you're going just car
I
to
know.
car,
Still has a warranty. That CPO, is that certified?
2017 for 42, only 18,000 miles.
Certified?
I don't think this is a CPO, although I don't know what dealership. Authorized BMW dealer, so I'd imagine it's CPO.
Maybe.
32. There's one for 32?
What?
Where's the buy now button? Young Ben's taking it.
Jesus Christ. It's in
That's
Swansea.
going to be the one without the good motor.
It's in
Where in
Swansea.
Swansea is it?
Private seller.
No.
Private seller, Swansea,
What
Mass.
year?
2017.
That's a bad one. That's one that doesn't have the S motor.
So that's what, right, there's the debate. You want the new, which is 53, 10,000 more than you'd be paying for the Golf R. So kind of defeats the purpose, I guess.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. There's a lot of competition. The competition keeps on coming for the Golf R.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Civic. I wish the Civic Type R wasn't so ridiculous looking. If I'm honest,
Right. Can we tone that down a
Subaru
little
makes
bit?
cars, but they don't compete. Actually, maybe there isn't a lot of competition for the Golf R. What's actual Golf R competition?
It's itself, the S3, but even S3 is a bit more money.
Right.
Um,
And S3, if it was a hatch, I'd be all about it. But I
Nissan doesn't
can't.
have
I can't
anything.
live with that thing.
Nissan Z, which gonna be a completely different platform, but it's probably gonna be similarly priced, I'd imagine.
You know what would compete with it? And I can get into my butthurt rant right now.
Okay.
The Toyota GR Yaris.
Yes.
The Toyota GR Yaris, which would be exactly the same price. Top Gear reviewed it.
Yep.
And I'm not going to get through the whole review, only that they said it's the best Toyota they've ever driven.
Yep.
Not really a high bar to measure by, but there is a Supra. It's a totally different everything. Totally different chassis, totally different body. The back's like 10 millimeters lower. It's a totally different car than the
Different
actual Yaris.
Animal entirely.
Absolute monster, 3-cylinder, ball bearing turbo, makes it a boost. I was going to do it in videos, but the Late Break Show, the guys that did the
Yep.
Johnny Smith, who did the interview with Chris Harris I talked about last week, he did a full review on it. It's like 25 minutes long. It was a bad idea for me to watch. I really want one. I was like, can I buy this in Poland and just leave it there and drive it once a year? But I can't even get there now.
Yep.
Yeah, so cool, super wide. That's my car that's just enough aggressive. It's ridiculously aggressive for a
Yep.
little car. Got their all-wheel drive setup. If you buy the sport mode, the sport one comes with diffs front and rear. I mean, it's crazy.
Holy shit.
Absolutely crazy. It doesn't come with heated seats, though.
What? Yeah.
Unless you buy the non-sport and don't get the diff. Come on, give me the seats.
Did they say the pricing for that thing?
It's like 45.
That's an expensive, well, in comparison, that's an expensive, not here, but hot hatch.
Yeah, it's way better than the Golf R.
But it's going to be, right.
I think the Golf R has more horsepower, but this thing's way lighter and way less usable.
New one, I think, is going to be, new one. I
Whereas a
think
Golf R is probably great to use every day.
will be $315, I think, for the new one.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
So, anyways, I think that's a sweet car. If you haven't looked at the Yaris GR, I mean, usually you're probably not looking at Toyota Yaris news, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
thing is absolutely insane.
There's a bunch of cool videos of that thing zinging around the Nürburgring. And,
Veloster N.
that's a good.
Thanks, John Orr. Really helping us with the show today without
Well,
Corey
wouldn't
here.
that Veloster N? Isn't that way more
It's less money.
GTI? Like, wouldn't GTI?
It's more of a
Right, it's like
GTI
Golf
thing,
R,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Because Hyundai doesn't really have a, NR or something,
they're up
that
end.
level, that top end, top of the line one.
Steve in the chat room mentioned the STI, but that's ridiculous. If I want a Saturn Ion, I'd buy a Saturn Ion.
Red line, Ion red line. Is that what it
It's
is?
literally the same body.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the STIs, it's just, I think super.
I just
whatever.
have no.
I don't know how they
right.
keep
I
selling.
I don't. Whatever.
Update the goddamn engine. Nobody
Well,
wants an
they did.
EJ25 anymore.
Remember they did, and they gave it like 4 horse or something.
Yeah, but it's still an
It's still-
EJ25.
oh, right. Still at the same platform.
You get the sweet port injection on a 15-year-old model.
Fock and Steve also says Golf R M2 are way different, to be honest. Oh yes, that completely. That, but my point with that was for that price. Just looking at like mid 40s. Well, I'm going to pick the M2 if I can get that versus the Golf R.
Unless you're Nancy and need all-wheel drive in the winter.
Correct. Exactly.
Or, I mean, I don't mean Nancy. I mean, if you shop at Lowe's, you need all-wheel drive in the winter. You get more news, some other news.
Yeah, I have a couple bits of news. I just thought this was really funny. Skoda?
Skoda, that means bummer in Polish.
Bummer?
And it's made in the Czech Republic. It's almost the same language. Yeah, if you were like, oh, that's a total bummer, you'd say it's a Skoda.
Well,
I don't know why they chose that name.
it's a total Skoda. If you are, I don't know, if you're out past curfew
Yes.
and
Shut the fuck up. And you get pulled over, what do? You shut the fuck up. You don't consent to a search.
if you're out past curfew and, you wander on over to your vehicle and you're just struggling to get your seatbelt in because you can't see it.
Wait, what?
Skoda.
That happens?
Skoda, apparently, Skoda has something for you.
Baby, I swear I thought it was never mind.
With the world's
Wrong hole, Chuck.
world's
Damn
first
it.
illuminated seatbelt buckle.
Wow. Skoda really knocking. That's a real Skoda right there. Really knocking it out of the
We're gonna
park.
add that to things that nobody asked for.
We're going to add that to points of failure.
Yeah,
My bulb went out. Now I can't find my seatbelt. This man died because his seatbelt bulb went out.
That's hilarious. I can't find my seatbelt. Well, what did you do for the first 50 fucking years?
and this person has a driver's license.
Yeah. So
Fuck no.
So the buckle glows red when the belt is undone and white when the belt is on.
They had to color code it.
Wait,
on
they
top
have
of
two
that?
colors?
Apparently. Let's see. The system sees the belt buckle glow red until the buckle is done up when it. Oh. Okay, so this article tells me two different things. When the belt buckle is done up, when it turns green. The system
Wait, is it
uses-
green the whole time you drive it?
I know. Hold on. The system uses a clear plastic button in place of a traditional red, while internal LEDs illuminate the buckle. The crystalline pattern in the plastic will spread the light so the whole button appears to glow, and the buckle can be programmed to have an animated welcome sequence to help passengers pick them out in the dark.
Wow, it was definitely a slow news day for that one.
Woo!
You're telling me it's crystalline so the whole button glows?
The whole thing. Skoda is pushing the boundaries of technology in the automotive world. I mean, SSC, 300, 331, 226, whatever. That's a wash.
Yeah.
Skoda
If you don't have light up buckles, I don't ride in
is
it.
fucking lighting it up.
Wow, the Polish cab game really just stepped up. Can't wait to drive around in the new Jetto with the light up
It's
seatbelt.
going to become an industry standard by 2025.
I can't wait to see the eBay knockoffs of this shit coming out, just like the F1 brake light thing.
Oh, yeah, the eBay knockoffs
Does
are just
Skoda-
going to light people's cars on fire when they try to wire them up.
Does Skoda
The
not mean
Samsung
bummer
battery.
in
Yeah.
Czech?
What's that?
Does Skoda not mean bummer in Czech? What's up, Liska? Can you tell me that?
Skoda in Czech meaning. Let me. Doesn't tell me anything.
Yeah, well, maybe it doesn't. I think it's just like a colloquialism in Polish. But
It says damage.
yeah,
Damage or loss.
it's the perfect young Ben mobile. It's the damage machine. What's it mean, damage or loss?
Damage or loss.
Yeah.
From what this? Yeah.
Yeah,
Similar.
there it is.
Bummer. Damage.
All
loss.
right, I don't know how the fuck they named it that in Czech, but hey,
Yeah.
party on.
Here we are. Let's see. Moving right along. Bentley. Oh, did we talk about this last week? Bentley will be fully electric by 2030.
I think so.
I think we did talk about that.
I just think it's hilarious to think a company with electronics like that's going to be fully electric.
By any time.
But it's owned by BMW, right?
No,
Volkswagen.
Volkswagen. Not that way. It's a lateral move, if you will.
I don't think either one would be better, honestly.
No, I think
problems
Volkswagen.
with
Talk about losing features. What feature you lose? It just doesn't go anywhere anymore. But it still translates Japanese live.
I was gonna say
And my seatbelts light up.
we lost the electric motors.
Check it out. You think Skoda's doing that as like it's like a test bed on the Czech people, and then they're going to bring it to Volkswagen next? So that'll be the next Golf R will have light up seatbelts.
No, I think that's what.
Listen, fam, we can't give you any more horsepower because of emissions. We had a little issue with that,
A little problem.
but you got to light up seatbelts now.
That's a think tank. That's the result of a think tank.
Jesus.
Can you make them strobe if you don't put one on?
I
So it
bet.
crashes you.
I bet you can code it to do whatever you want.
I hope so.
Yeah, you
Bet
can.
that is in no way annoying when you're driving.
Not at all, especially with
Well,
a
it
blinking
depends.
green.
Depends on the voltage that's going through the LEDs and how bright they are.
Maximum.
It's gonna right. You just turn it on. It lights the
Can
whole,
I put HIDs on
lights
that
up the
thing?
whole fucking interior.
So it'll be like the what was it, the Bentley front logo, or no, the Rolls Royce logo that
Rolls-Royce.
they're gonna get
Yeah.
called. You can't put
How do
those.
they even advertise
Please turn your
that?
seatbelt lights down. They're blinding other drivers.
Hey guys, you ever had a problem finding your seatbelt in the dark in your car
no.
with the dome lights?
Nope.
Still no.
Right. Yeah. Generally, it's where I left it.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't even fucking drive, because if you can't handle the simple step of being able to get a seatbelt buckle in,
Do they illuminate where the key goes? Oh no, there's no keys
No.
anymore. Never mind.
Right. No keys. Right. Yeah. Just your fingerprints.
How do they light up the seats like a landing light? Where am I supposed to sit in this fucking thing? There's no lights.
That's where your butthole reader goes. That's,
yeah,
that's
light up the pedals.
just yells at you harder.
The
Oh,
butthole reader.
Massive damage.
What's that do?
here.
Verify?
Makers of shake weight.
Massive
Is that like
damage
a fingerprint?
here.
That's how it verifies the driver.
Aren't they all unique?
Hey, TM.
Speaking of stuff, Ferrari boss doesn't see the company.
Things.
Dumb.
Ferrari boss doesn't see the company ever going fully electric.
Yeah, because they're Italian and they know better. We don't want that shit to burn down. It burns down enough already.
They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
just-
fuck you.
right, I think
we'll
they're-
pay the fine.
I was just going to say they're the only ones. Yeah, we'll just charge 15% more on everything we sell and go
Yeah.
from there.
Just add that to the last 200 times we added 15%.
Yeah, exactly. In the
past decade.
And the other last bit of news I had, I haven't checked this thing out, but apparently there's an RS version of the Audi e-tron or Audi RS e-tron GT. Yeah, let's make these fucking names.
Audi RS e-tron GT.
Audi RS e-tron GT.
Black optics package.
The R-Set-Ron GT. The R-Set-Ron GT. I
Just wait for them to start
think
using
of it.
hashtags.
Centurion.
Centurino. RS e-tron GT Performance Sedan. Apparently,
Stellantis.
it's just this. Well, we can talk about them too. They came out with a new logo. I don't know if
A
you've seen
Stellantis logo.
that. Yeah,
Please tell me it's a butthole.
looks. No, it just looks like toothpaste.
Really?
Jesus.
Yeah, it's
Stellantis' new toothpaste logo.
If they try to put, I might understand why everybody's making grills bigger, just to fit all these
More hot
words
dogs?
that-
All the badging they need.
all the sausage. Yeah, just all the badging. That's it. Might be it. That's all I get for news.
Oh, well,
That's it.
good thing you're out of news
Yeah.
because rumors are out there that Hyundai may be buying Boston Robotics. And I did a little theorizing. I didn't research at all. And I figured it's probably going to make their cars into some type of murderous transformer.
I'm just thinking, right? Let's go white paper here.
Yep. And I'd imagine that's what they're doing it for. But then I did a little bit of research. Turns out Hyundai actually makes industrial robots. And it would make good sense to spruce those babies up, give them the correct weapons so they can take over the world.
So they can make the T800, T1000 with neural net processors.
Let's face it.
With really tinny door sounds.
If murderous robots took over, would it be that much worse than it is now?
At this
Also,
point,
wouldn't,
It'd probably be better.
wouldn't you want them made by Hyundai so you
Right.
could eventually shut them down or hope they wear out?
The
When it transforms.
Was
that tin?
That was good.
Shut
That was
up.
good.
That's not an intimidating sound.
This is
I'll do it
Korean
again.
build quality.
Right, why? What is,
You will submit to my Korean build quality.
Why-
15
Still
years.
dead, but you're laughing.
why
Yeah,
did
exactly.
that? Why did that robot just tell me to shut the fuck up? I will not consent.
Shut the fuck up. Do not consent. Sir,
well,
what are
that's-
you doing out on the road
That's
tonight?
what we can hope for. Is that
Just a,
whoever
a Hyundai police car that turns into an angry armed robot.
robot? It's
I'm not gonna lie, I might be into that. If we could just have Hyundai robots take over the country,
all we can
that
hope
would
for.
rock.
Right. All we can hope for is that whoever the robot manufacturer is, it does have some debilitating thing, whether it be rod bearings, location of the gas tank, like what was that, Chevette, something, just
Pinto.
some Pinto. That's what it
hit
is.
us and we'll blow up together.
Right. You hit the right spot, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, but once Skynet goes live, this would make Hyundai the biggest company in the world.
Perhaps the potential build quality of a Tesla. It's just,
Exactly.
The legs
I
are
forgot to install armaments on this
the
one.
legs are 2 different sizes. It just walks in circles. Doesn't matter.
Just has that sunny California disposition.
That's all we can hope for.
Bro,
Is
what are
that
you doing
something
now?
debilitating?
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Bro.
A robot. Bro, man, you're going to shred the gnar? You should do that tomorrow morning.
Bro, do you know how late it is right now, bro? You shouldn't
It's
be
after
out.
10 o'clock.
I'm going to have to execute you, man.
What? That's a little harsh.
Really harsh on my mellow right now. I don't want to have to pull anybody over.
Oh,
Anyway, speaking of terrible future cars, BMW released the iX.
oh, this thing.
The BMW iX used to be named the iNext, which was also bad. It reminded me of the Robin Hood Men in Tights with the witch. Your name was changed to Latrine. Used to be Shithouse. That is literally the iNext to the iX. It is used to be Shithouse. It's not just ugly; it's future ugly. It's got 370 kilowatts, which makes 500 horsepower. It goes 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds. It will supposedly, in the future, when released, get 300 miles on a charge. It will have DC fast charging,
Okay.
which I guess you have to charge it in Washington, D.C. And 10 minutes of charge gets you 75 miles. But it doesn't even
Okay.
take me 10 minutes to fill up the car.
Yeah.
And then I think it's 40 minutes to get you to 80%. But it is not good. I mean, it's BMW's i SUV.
It's got
Well,
that.
they already have the i3.
Yeah, it's got that design to it because I seen the grill.
Oh, let me see your grill.
There's a lot.
Lots of grill.
it.
Lots
a
of
lot
grill.
it there. They could fit multiple still anuses across the front of that thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's happening. They didn't really release. It was like one of those hoodwink things, like when they made the 6 to 8. It's like, oh, no, we get the
Right,
iX
right.
now. Like, well, that was the iNext like 30 seconds ago. Nobody cared.
Right. Just keep changing the marketing campaign until someone pays attention.
So I'd imagine it's going to be the i5 when it comes out. I don't know. iX5.
XT. Keep deleting letters until someone pays attention.
Black Edition, optics package, who knows? X Drive. It's going to be the iX340 X Drive Snow Edition.
M
Edition.
Package.
package. Right. Oh wait,
The package edition.
M competition package.
Yeah, it'd be a competition, right?
Yeah. Then yeah.
It's always a competition. We know what we're measuring in that competition, boys.
How many badges?
It's a sausage competition.
It just
How many sausages can that soft closed trunk kill
I was just gonna say, don't get it stuck in the trunk.
before it stops functioning?
That's it for my news.
Yeah,
Untapped for news.
I had the video, but I already said late break show, Yaris GR.
Yeah.
Everything I've watched from the late break show has been awesome. Very psyched on that.
If you want to
Didn't
do,
Corey send us a video to watch?
he
Chris
sent us-
Harris.
yeah, Chris. There was a
It was
couple Chris
Top Gear
Harris ones.
video.
Yeah.
Chris Harris walking around the Top Gear 29 set.
Yeah.
Which is, if you haven't seen Top Gear 29 because some reason you can't get it in America, it is a huge stage and everybody just brings their car and parks around. There's a lot of cool cars, so he just walks around and bullshits about people's cars. Pretty psyched about that.
That's one to watch.
I haven't watched it yet, but I'll listen to Chris Harris just about do anything.
Yeah,
the phone
pretty
book.
much whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a new series I started watching called Jesus Christ, I forgot the name, and I did. Oh, it's obviously right in front of me.
Sounds
Hold
like a
on.
religious type
Let me
thing.
click that. It's actually called.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I forgot the name.
Person in the backseat of a G-Wagon.
It's. Does anybody know who Michael Fassbender is?
Arrested Abroad. I've heard of Michael Fassbender. He's an actor of sorts, English actor.
German, I think. Is he English? He
Born
might be English.
73.
Wow,
Gets 3
okay.
inches of annual rainfall. No, I have no
Okay.
idea who that man is.
So he's
Heard
in,
the name, though.
He's in Inglourious Bastards, and if
Who
anybody's
is he?
familiar with Inglourious Bastards, young Ben, if you drop your
God
own
damn it,
phone
young Ben.
one more goddamn time,
God damn it, young Ben. I can't make noise with my goddamn toy Joe brought me. But you can drop your phone whenever you want. Who was he in Inglourious Bastards?
the man who gets himself killed by saying Triglazer instead of Triglazer or however Triglazer. The one with the Swiss Alps, and he's
What's the guy's name? What's Brad Pitt's name in that movie? Remember that song?
Lieutenant Aldo Raines.
Oh no, his fake name, and when he's introducing himself.
Gorlami. Gorlami.
See, come again. Gorlami.
Gorlami.
If you look up YouTube, someone makes a remix of that Gorlami on an OP1, and it is wonderful. Can we play that? Gorlami.
I don't know.
Anyways, look it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Gorlami.
So back to YouTube. Michael Fassbender. Apparently, he's really into cars and, in particular, racing them. I guess when you're a Hollywood actor and you have some money, you can do whatever you want.
I thought it was a German actor.
Hollywood,
I'm just
German,
fucking with you.
same
Go ahead.
thing. Yeah. Tomato.
Yes.
Gorlami.
Gorlando.
He actually, or there's a series that looks like it came out last year called Road to Le Mans. And he is driving for Porsche. And I'm about 2 episodes in.
Wait.
It's rather interesting.
Michael Fassbender is driving in Le Mans. Is that Road to Lemons?
Road to Lemons, yep.
Okay.
No, this is the real one. Follow Michael on his journey to the ultimate motorsport event in this weekly series, Road to Le Mans.
Is he driving for Porsche, or does he own a Porsche he's driving?
I haven't quite worked that out yet.
It seems unlikely. Isn't he not very young?
In his dream to race against the best teams and drivers in the world at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Next episode is whatever.
This guy's that good at driving?
Well, I'm 2 episodes in, and right now I'm going to say no.
Oh.
Well, there were some incidents. I don't quite know how it's going to... Right, Skoda. Damage, loss. First race doesn't go so good. And he was...
What happened?
Oh, the lights will turn on. Yeah. Just keep walking. Just don't hit
eventually.
Something. So the first episode is him just kind of getting the hang of
driving a car.
Track in the car. And he has a bit of a incident, or he has a couple offs.
Who's this guy?
And he has a bit of an incident at a turn, which he, in the video at first, is just like, it was all my fault. But after he talks to his crew, they kind of talk him through, well, it was partially your fault, but maybe not as bad as you're, putting on your shoulders. So again, I'm only 2 episodes in. This is just the first season that I'm watching. The second season is already out, which came out this year or started in October of this year. Quick hitters, if you will, 7-8 minute episodes, shot extremely well. And I'm eager to continue watching that series.
Wait, hold on a second. Michael Fassbender.
Oh, he drove a 911 GT3 Cup.
That's the thing. Like, I don't know if he has a history.
He was Christensen in Band of Brothers? Jesus. This is one of my favorite actors.
So
he was a total badass in that one.
This guy rules, right? Because in Inglourious Basterds, he's fucking awesome. And then finding out that he also drives cars, like, oh, hot damn.
Oh, yeah. It's a Porsche-produced series.
What a great actor.
Yeah, and it's shot impeccably.
I'm watching Band of Brothers again. It's been a month.
So that is something that I've been watching. On top of, I'm going to wait and hold my discussion because the boys at Bad Obsession Motorsport finished up, or actually they got one more episode this week, but they had the last race of their season racing in that small little race series. So I want to wait and talk to Corey about that next week.
Perfect.
Yep.
Wow, I didn't even know it was that big into that. It's one of my favorite actors, even know who his name was.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, he's in a couple of things that I'm like,
Band of Brothers,
really
man.
good.
That's all that matters. You're in Band of Brothers. You can race whatever you want.
It's true.
You're a goddamn national hero.
You choose. Same thing for, who is it, Ross from Friends? Yeah, do whatever you want. Is Ross from Friends in there?
No, I think this is Joey from Friends. Oh, Ross from Friends is in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a great job.
Pivot.
What's that guy's name in that movie? He says pivot in that movie? He doesn't say pivot even
that's
once.
from Friends.
Oh, I have no
the
idea.
only thing I remember from Friends is them trying to move a couch.
He was, he was like the drill sergeant at the beginning of the show. Respect the rank. We don't salute the man, we salute the rank. Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Watch Band of Brothers. It's great.
So, yes, that's Michael Fassbender in that series on YouTube. Highly recommend so far.
Excellent.
You want to keep Joe busy for a minute or two? I'm going to run to the restroom.
Is that a code?
You have to run now.
I'm going to literally
Yeah, you better hustle over there.
I'll
I
be
mean,
right
now that
back.
I've totally run out of things to talk about. How is everybody out there?
Well, YouTube,
Joe, what are you doing, buddy?
I've been watching Project Binky. the amount of work that those guys put in to make a freaking bracket. I think it's episode 16 where they're talking about, like, they actually put a timer just to show how much work they do on every little thing. As a fabricator, you appreciate it because you see the amount of work they're doing, and if you've never built something like from scratch like that, just to get the level of precision that they make for a single little bracket, 6 hours.
I think I could do a YouTube where I do the opposite of that and just do the shittiest job on everything. Like if Fingertip Motorsport had a YouTube, it would just be horrible shit.
Chuck zip ties more
shit. Still runs though.
Skyline.
Still runs. Yeah, I think that's why I haven't really gotten into Project Minky, because I just can't imagine spending that much time doing anything.
And then redoing it.
Yeah,
and then redoing
I just hammer it through with zip ties. And now plastic welding.
I mean, if you like the building component of it, just it's super nerdy on that level. So I've been very much into it.
Nice. How deep are you? I heard there's like 7 years worth of episodes.
16 episodes in, so I think that's 3 years.
Jesus.
Yeah, they don't move.
So they're going quarterly, kind of.
They don't move.
But they
quick.
were. Now they're doing faster stuff with some race series, right?
Right. Yeah, I think the other series. So project like their so it's Bad Obsession Motors, but I think their other one was the budget racing, or I forget what the other one is called. But
you ever been involved in like a work conversation, and then it goes into about sports ball or whatever people watch on TV?
Hey, my favorite sports team.
Yeah, that's Project Binky with me and the boys.
Gotcha.
I haven't watched it.
The motor doesn't run. How many horsepower is it? I don't care.
There you go. Yeah, I mean it's something, man.
But it's definitely an impressive amount of work.
Oh, absolutely.
Plus, they do a good job with the production value because it's entertaining. They know that they're ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which is...
How far along are they in their main vehicle?
I couldn't tell you. I'm still only on episode 16.
So I got 15 years to catch up.
I think there's like either 30 or 40 episodes of that. And, I mean, they move at a snail's pace. I mean, they're building a car from scratch, making each piece from scratch out of garbage a lot of the time.
It's awesome. Young Ben, what are you watching on YouTube recently?
That channel Side by Side blog got their 2JZ swapped Razor back together.
So they have a 2JZ swapped Polaris Razor.
4-door.
4-door.
With the power glide.
With a power glide?
Yeah. And it has... So they blew their bottom end to pieces. Like
Yes.
completely like...
Yeah, as one does with the 2JZ, making way too much horsepower. So how much horsepower does their new 2JZ have?
So the new 2JZ is a full billet motor.
Yep.
And
Going in like maybe a 2,000-pound Polaris.
That's
not even
4 people
2,000
in it.
pounds. No, it only sits 2 now.
Because
The
because the
2J's
motor wouldn't
literally in the
fit.
back seat.
Because they come with...
How much of the
3
original
cylinders.
car or side by side is actually left at this point?
Oh, it's original frame.
Yeah, you got to remember they're all like steel tubing framed. So it's like
Right.
it's basically a sand rail that you buy.
And bolt whatever you want to.
Yeah, except that a 2JZ won't fit in one without ripping the goddamn back seat out.
Yeah.
So what are they desert guys?
They do, yeah, mostly, but they also do some drag strip stuff.
Yeah, so not side by side stuff. Besides desert stuff.
No, they
Do
do
people
trail
go to
riding.
drag strips with side by sides?
Yeah, with
Where? God, I gotta go. I
Yeah.
gotta move to Florida because my
This
side
one?
by side has like a 600cc motor, and I'm gonna kill
Yeah.
myself in that thing if I ever go fast in the woods. But these guys are running 2JZ side by sides.
Jesus Christ.
Holy shit! Is Rooster Tail the whole thing?
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm fucking in on 2JZ side by sides.
Now we know what Chuck's
Yeah,
going to
I
be watching on
think
the treadmill.
I think this one makes 1,200 horsepower.
The Verge is in too. He's been to that shit as well.
Yeah,
1,200 horsepower.
it does It's like 2.30 to 60 on dirt,
It's on dirt. Look, got paddle tires on that
Yeah.
fucking thing. Oh my god.
Just shovels.
and it's running a 2.3 on dirt to 60.
Yeah, but it doesn't spin tire. It just,
No, it spins.
well, yeah.
Well-
well, Jesus Christ.
Just throws it.
Is
So-
it
so
is
did
it
you
all wheel
see-
drive?
Ben,
Yeah.
show him the video of it just chucking dirt down
Yeah,
the road.
yeah, no, I
Is
just seen
it-
the Jurassic
Is it
Park
all wheel
one.
drive? No.
Yeah, it still is.
How? What?
I think it is.
How?
I don't know.
Young Ben.
How
Find
would they
these things out.
power the front wheels?
Magic.
I drive shaft.
Another 2JZ.
So it goes out to. Okay. I mean, yeah, they have a center diffs on it.
Yeah.
on the
This
Power
is
Glides.
right before they blew the motor.
For those of you not watching, just listening, we just saw Chuck try to do math.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, I know how bad it is done on my Skyline. I can't imagine how bad you'd have to do it. Well, I guess there's not really space constrictions on the Razor. Yeah, but that's only back wheels.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's rear-wheel
just
drive.
just
Okay,
rear-wheel
thank
drive,
God. I was
full
going to
wheelie
say
mode.
that doesn't seem like impossible.
Um,
Sweet. Well, Young Ben's watching side-by-side stuff, getting ready for the ultimate side-by-side build.
Yeah, it's gonna be the fastest side by side probably out there because they go to all of the.
is that like a
that-
thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there's.
Where are
there's
they in
company-
Arizona or something?
No, they're in.
Somewhere where there's more space than here?
Yeah, it's. I think it's Minnesota.
Minnesota?
No, that's some serious
not
bragging
it.
rights in New Hampshire right there. Fastest
Texas
side-by-side.
North? Oh, my God.
I
Shout
can't,
to everybody in New Hampshire.
I can't remember where they are.
Well, that's crazy.
I just want to look at your YouTube history.
No, you don't.
It'd be such a interesting. Maybe it might even provide a whole episode of discussion. Want to get into main topic?
He's frantically erasing it right now.
I'm not going to look at your Instagram or history.
Of any sort.
It's the main topic. Main topic. Gotta make another one of those.
I don't think so. I think that's perfect.
Mr. Joe Booth.
Yes, sir.
We're here to not talk about Mark IIIs this time.
I know. Well, I'm calling you as a different person this time.
Truly, come out of your shell. We're here to talk about plastics, and in particular, plastics in the automotive world and some of the things that are being developed, tried. You own a company called Perfection Plastics.
Mm-hmm.
Please tell us a bit more about that.
Well, it's kind of, you think it allows you to hot rod with modern cars because most of what we're dealing with nowadays, it's not as much metal. You're not doing like most of what you deal with, but most of what's around the body of the car is plastic. So, and most of your interior is plastics. It's not much metal. So being able to modify plastics is kind of allowing you to hot rod in a modern way.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing, what I do is repair and fabricate plastics. So
when you say repair and fabricate?
So I have the ability, I can plastic weld, I can also modify, take pieces, graft other pieces of plastic to each other, 3D print stuff to be used within that kind of building. So that way it allows a new level of creativity so you can build customization that way. You can take a Dodge Hellcat front lip and stick it on the front of your Mark III if you want to.
You put the yellow things on it?
The funny part is trying to find the stupid bananas is very difficult because they want more for the bananas than they want for the lip.
The whole car.
Yeah. And having worked at a Dodge dealership, those people go fucking bananas.
They're pink now, too.
Yes.
So now everybody wants the yellow
on the
ones.
hope that someone will not continue to keep them on, but that's not going to stop
Oh, no,
anybody.
I still see pink ones on the road. Yeah.
No, I think we're just going to cut foam noodles up and stick it on the front for protection.
So on a project like mounting that lip to, say, a Mark III bumper, what does that entail? What kind of endeavor is that?
So it comes from main roots of just kind of fabrication ideas in the same kind of principle that you would be fabricating with metal if you're going to make a custom piece, like if you were making a hot rod. Mm-hmm. But and very similar principles too. Like there's actually plastic welding. You can actually weld plastic to itself.
So, from a uneducated, outside looking perspective, being my own, is plastic welding just melting things together?
Isn't
very
real
much
welding?
Okay,
right, melting metal together, right.
So to get into kind of the nerdier side of it, your majority of your automotive plastics are what they call thermoplastic. So it can, in the easiest way to think of it, is sort of like butter. So you can melt it, cool it, shape it again, melt it, cool it, shape it again.
It's gonna cool to form.
Right.
That's why it melts when I use the Dremel real fast.
Right. No, but the thing is actually, and when you actually look at the chart for it, this is where it gets complicated. Is there's multiple types of plastics out there, and there's about I did an Audi bumper, and there was actually 6 different types of plastic used in components of the Audi bumper. So depending on what kind of characteristics you want, they will use a different type of plastic. And the thing about it is so that it'll give either more chemical resistance or more UV resistance or more flexibility or less.
Can you make Young Ben's bumper more flexible?
You'd have to make it out of a different plastic. So
I'm thinking you do the whole car. Plastic.
Worth it.
right. I mean, but that's like an interesting one is like, so the front lip of a R32 is actually made out of polyurethane, and then the main bumper is actually made out of ABS. So depending on what they want the characteristics, whether you want a more rigid feel, like the intake manifolds for a Mark 7 are plastic now.
Yeah.
And they're made out of actually nylon infused. So it's PA6 GF30. So it's nylon 6 with a glass fiber percentage of 30% glass fiber to give it that. So if you were to grind it, you'd see actually it looks kind of like fiberglass.
Does it hold up to heat better? Is that
Yep.
yeah? Okay.
It's for heat and for the rigidity factor, so that way it can handle the pressure. So they'll do a lot of times now. You're starting to see more and more blends of plastics added in, so they'll use that to give it different characteristics. It's where it makes it more complicated though, because everyone's like, "Oh, it's plastic. Just weld it to the other piece of plastic."
Well, you can't. Right. That would be like, oh, take this piece of steel, weld it to that aluminum.
Correct. And within that, the problem is there is so many options, and if the color, then they dye it different colors, so it's not the same. It's not as easy to tell. It's not like aluminum and steel where you just take a magnet and that's what it is. A lot of plastics will have a marking on it usually that helps you out, but if it's aftermarket or whatnot, you may not know.
I was just gonna say, is there a way to tell? Is there some sort of cut a piece, put it in a vial, send it off?
Well, there's actually so I'm sponsored by a company called Polyvance, which is one of the larger plastic welding fabrication kind of companies in the U.S. And pretty much when it comes down to it, they're kind of the top of the line for that.
Yep.
And what they have is they have a guide that kind of goes with kind of, okay, it's this kind of plastic. These are the general uses for it. And then if that doesn't work, there's actually a flow chart. Kind of, does it melt when you touch it? Does it sand finely? Is it this? Is it flexible? Is it rigid? And then you kind of weed it out.
Work off a test piece.
Right. Or then the final test is usually what you do is you take a piece of your welding rod and basically do a test weld. If it sticks, that's right. If it's not, I mean, and it's very, like, it'll just peel right off if it's not on right.
Yep. Young Ben, if you want to go. Oh, yeah. No shit. Sorry to break up the interview.
No problem.
We're getting
Saying you've
shawarma.
been in the shawarma,
Listen,
shawarma man.
I came for the shawarma, stayed for the interview.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's why we're here.
Everything's plastic now.
Yeah, and that's kind of where so I got into it about 5 years ago because on a stupid Mark III, I wanted to
Make the whole car plastic so it stopped rusting away.
If only it was that simple.
You can't make a frame out of plastic, buddy.
Unfortunately, plastic doesn't weld so well to metal. Tried, doesn't work so great. But I wanted to put European lower bumper ducts on a North American bumper, and I wanted them to actually stay in place because they were a pain in the butt to get back then. And so a friend of mine, Cam, introduced me to plastic welding. And
Shout to Cam.
yeah, big shouts out to Cam because I got started with just kind of screwing around with it, and then after a lot of trial and error and really sucking at it, I tried a couple of projects, and it started to get more like the one I really remember was my friend Larry had a 4Motion Mark IV lip, and it had a huge chunk missing. He's like, "It's junk, just throw it out. Don't worry about it." I'm like, "Well, do we have a stock lip we could take a piece out of, and I think I can, weld that chunk back in. I can take the piece out of, where it would be and put it back together." I did that, couple of beers and some adult sodas,
Mm-hmm.
and we thought it was a great idea, and it actually worked. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where it kind of clicked in my head that this could be something that's really allows you to do some really cool stuff. The kind of next big project I did after that was a certain EOS bumper. I took a EOS bumper and a Golf R bumper and made them together.
Oh, okay.
For Lala.
A local project. Yep. Okay.
And that was like 20 hours worth of welding. I was in way over my head with what I was doing, but I was determined that I was going to make this happen.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of kept going from there. And at this point, it's just really good. I enjoy it because it's very interesting because a lot of people are like, people don't think about it in terms of that. Most of the people assume that if it's plastic, if it's not, like once it breaks, it's junk. But the amount of tricks and stuff you can do to either modify or repair or kind of, keep it still. It's just, once you start getting creative with it, I think it really opens up a lot of options for people to play with it.
It at least brings some potential to save some stuff that's no longer available.
Right. And it's interesting, though, because it does come from the auto body world. And there's not a lot of preference for it because there's not a lot of
in the auto body world, it's just replace it,
right.
not repair it.
In just because most of it's fueled by insurance. Insurance doesn't want to take the risk that it's not repaired correctly. They'd rather just replace it.
Right, waste all those hours, have somebody not happy with it, do it again.
Right, and it's also not necessarily a skill someone's going to really work on and kind of get
Especially
to
as
use.
a body shop, right.
I mean, they do it. I mean, a lot of body shops will have a plastic welder, or they'll have like a basic one around, or they'll done it. I mean, because you can save $300 by doing it.
Yeah. So, in the fit, form, and finish, I am a stickler when it comes to that stuff. And if something doesn't fit near OEM or look similar, it's going to be I'm never going to be happy with it. So when you do weld something together, obviously there's many different types of plastic. For instance, a lip or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you weld it from the backside to have minimal stuff on the front, and then does it get worked, body worked?
So ideally, if you're going to do an actual weld, so if let's say you brought a cracked bumper, to get actually a really proper repair, you're actually going to want to weld front and back side of that crack. Because otherwise what you end up doing, if you're only doing one side, there's still a crack in there. You're only basically, it'd be like if you had cut,
fastening a bridge from one side.
Right, or if you had a cut and you needed stitches, you're just putting a Band-Aid over. You're still cut underneath that.
Right.
And you're leaving a space where either air or moisture or something like that can cause it to still crack apart. So ideally what you want is what looks like an hourglass shape with a weld. So you have a V groove on one side, a V groove on the other side, and the two tips are just touching each other.
Yep.
So that way you have a phrasing, I know.
Predator.
There's always a predator in the room. But that way you're eliminating that crack, that weld. It's gone. So that way. And then you are going to need to redo filler and body work afterwards.
Okay,
so
that's why I was just, it made me the filler part of, obviously the rule of thumb is use as little as you need.
Correct.
In most cases. So I just wasn't sure if that still applied, if manipulating the plastic changed it and made it tougher in any way.
Depending on how you do it, if you actually like some people use hot staples and other little tricks to help, or like a lot of times you'll see a plastic repair and I get fixed.
Hot staple.
So
what the hell's that?
So
sexual maneuver.
Yes, it is it's a second cousin to the Cleveland steamer. And what it is
kind of like an Eiffel Tower.
Hot Tijuana.
So what you take is basically it's a glorified paper clip and you embed it between it.
Is it plastic?
Yep. No, it's metal. Actually, you take a metal staple heat it up and you embed it inside the plastic.
Okay.
So that allows you to hold the part together.
Frankenstein looking.
Right.
Deal.
It's literally the same way you would use a staple if you got, something hit you in the head and you needed staples, right?
Yeah.
So, right. So it basically holds it together so that way but you want to remove that afterward.
Okay.
You don't want to necessarily, they're good to hold stuff together.
Oh, so hold it together for something to cure or something?
So while you're welding. So like if you have, a lot of times with the plastic, the other problem is when you're repairing it, is it gets deformed. So you have to kind of like pull it back into shape.
So
zip ties don't count as plastic welding.
I have seen someone. There's a video that
because in that case, I have plastic welded a whole bunch of shit.
There's a video I got sent of someone taking a zip tie and a map gas screwdriver and actually using it like a welding rod to fix it.
I wouldn't call my job perfection though.
No, but zip stitches, it's a similar idea. But that it's more just to hold it. So the flexibility after, if you repair it with the proper tools, and it's identical.
It'll maintain.
This looks beefy. Like I'm looking at a weld you did on the back of the whatever the heck this is for.
That's like a trim piece in a Mark IV.
Yeah, but that looks like that could take like a man standing on it. Like that's got some real juice behind it.
That's a little different. That's just actually that's not a real weld. That's it's a glue.
Yeah,
for that one. Because of how delicate that area is.
Yeah.
But that's going to be stronger than the panel was initially.
Correct.
I mean, that's just got so much more beef to it now.
So to answer
quick side note, anybody on the YouTube world,
YouTube
we
isn't
don't
working
know
for
what
anybody.
is happening because it's still going out to us, and like I'm looking at it on my screen and I still show a feed from us. So we apologize. We're not exactly sure.
No, YouTube's just not playing videos, period.
Oh, okay. So YouTube in general is down.
So it looks like a worldwide outage. It's probably deep state.
This could be it, ladies and gentlemen. This might be
it's the deep state.
Yeah, this is it.
Knew it. As soon as Joe got here, I was like, oh, man, it's a deep state
Listen, they
strike
heard us
tonight.
talking about the robots, and then you made fun of Kia. Kia's like,
Jesus
they're onto us.
Christ. No, it was Hyundai.
Oh,
My
Hyundai,
God.
sorry, Kia.
Both of them, they teamed up.
Yeah, I know. Battle of the Rock'em Sock'ems.
Sonata robot.
Yeah, I
outside.
mean, I'm not even on our Wi-Fi. I'm just on LTE, and
it's
I
just
won't even
not.
play Rogan, who's our
Okay.
overlord. So
Yeah, so, well, if anybody's still listening, good luck and Godspeed.
Otherwise, the podcast will come out when the apocalypse ends.
Oh, no, we'll be back next week.
We'll be recording. Doesn't mean anybody's listening.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It's
shouts
a
to
YouTube
everybody there.
curfew.
I mean, the
sorry, guys, YouTube curfew.
YouTube
Thanks,
curfew.
Charlie.
The
Yeah.
chat is still
Queen
rolling.
Jean.
So maybe it's just down in certain areas. I'm not too sure. But anyway, so the plastic does get manipulated, or you have to manipulate it back.
You're right. So
It
just to finally answer your question, the repair of the plastic, because it's the same plastic and you're essentially reflowing it back in there.
Yeah.
It's not like when you weld metal where the edges of that weld are different, like consistency. This will literally be like you injected this plastic again into this
Almost
thing.
the same way it was made.
Correct.
Essentially, you're just recreating that in a smaller
Right.
spot.
So unlike with, as long as you do it properly, it's clean, you don't have any contamination, et cetera, in a theoretical state, it will be the exact same as this if it was before.
How does the plastic welder work?
So you have a couple different ways. I actually have two different ones. You have a air welder, and then you have airless welding.
Okay.
So there, depending on what you're welding, depending on what you're working on, you use different ways. The air welder, basically you have, it heats up the air. You basically heat it, and you have a stream of really hot air that you control it with. And the unit I use has a nitrogen generation system with it.
Yeah.
So that way you have a shielding gas just like regular welding.
And again, just a quick update. Chuck just looked on his phone. YouTube apparently is down worldwide.
Holy shit, we broke the internet.
God damn it! I knew having you here was going to be perfect, man. This must be most viewers ever.
If we go outside and there's just orange,
If,
it looks like sunset, except it's not sunset.
if we go outside and my shawarma's not ready, I'm going to have a
We
problem.
might just come back in here. Try to get the family.
We got
here.
plenty of buffer zone between us and outside.
Facebook's still up, so the internet's still happy.
We'll just get in the van.
I'm not getting in the van with you, Chuck.
It's the end times, buddy.
No, don't worry. It locks from the inside.
I
on
mean,
purpose.
the problem with it is like explaining it can get really technical just because there's so many elements
right,
to it.
Right. There's I hate.
And I'm not
using
trying
this
to be
term, but-
nerdy.
No, I hate using this term. Like 10,000-foot view. To me, it's okay. Obviously, there's a heat source to melt it.
Yep.
So when you're using it, either one, the heat source, or let's call it the tip, does that heat up the device that you're going to? As well? Is it almost like soldering?
So that's airless welding. So
Okay.
basically, you have so soldering. Basically the airless welding, you can either use it like you would expect with soldering, where you're touching a hot tip to the plastic and melting it, or you can use an extrusion style, where basically there's a little foot and you push the rod through the hole in the foot,
Mm-hmm.
and it comes out all melty and gooey. There was no way that I could not look straight at Chuck
Listen.
like that. And
Listen, buddy, that sounds great.
so they have their pluses and minuses, and you kind of like, the more I do this, the more I find out that I used to kind of be like, oh, you have to do it this way, but there's so many tricks and techniques that you use to it.
As is with everything over time.
Right. It's sort of like when you watch like really high end metal welders and like shapers, like the way that they use the tooling, and you're like, oh wow, that
Didn't think of approaching it that way. Now, what about so I'm was originally thinking in terms of exterior plastics, i.e., lips, bumpers, etc. What about those shitty, almost hard, fragile, frail pieces?
Yep.
Throughout cars.
Yep.
Is that stuff just as repairable?
Yep.
Is it as apparent to you as it is to me that if you open like an on-the-spot booth at Drift Nights, you'd be the richest man in the world?
So the only thing that sucks is A, you can't do fiberglass, and B, the bane of my existence is textured plastic.
Right.
Because the problem with plastic welding is there's literally no way to get in plastic weld unless you do like a one-sided repair, which is sketchy.
Yeah.
To do it without needing to refinish the surface after
I was
you're
just
done.
going to say, right, because a textured plastic, it's there because the mold that the plastic was shot into was textured.
Right.
And it's just there. It's part of the
Can't a
manufacturing
bedliner,
process.
buddy.
So yeah, well that's the thing is you end up bedlinering it, but the problem is if like most of the stuff that I end up getting is either rare or unique, and they want
Right. They don't want it to be bedline shitted up. Yeah.
they want it as OEM as possible. And the problem is the purists are going to look. I mean, purist people look at it and that's not the right texture. Yeah,
Fucking
I can.
Toby.
Well, I mean, like, but that's the thing about it is, so like with that being said, like, it also just makes it really tough if you mess up, if that any of the heat sources touch that plastic, like even Mark III interiors, that center console is made out of textured plastic.
Yes.
So if I'm
A
doing
very odd texture too.
right, a very unique, weird pattern, and if
It's
whatever,
as if somebody just laid on it as it was drying.
yeah, pretty much like it's sort of like when you have like a wrinkled T-shirt and you have it like gives you that kind of like texture look in your arm. Yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like. But if you mess up, you could be doing 4 hours worth of work and it's just junk.
Right.
That
Right. Because
sucks.
just eliminates.
There's nothing to do to repair it. You can't undo it. It's just done. So textured plastic, I kind of like when someone asks me to work on that, I'm like, okay, your two options. You can either bedliner it, like Chuck said,
Yep.
or we're very limited on what I can do with this.
Yeah.
Just because you either access or like if you have to cut something to modify it, you have to try and figure out a way to hide the cuts.
Right. Whatever that line is or the contact point, it's going to be unfinished essentially.
Right. Or
Unless
use,
it all gets recovered.
or use some tricks like you can like using like a piece of welting.
I was just going to say, can you get to the point of, all right, let me try to match this texture and melt surrounding or get surrounding areas malleable and lay something over it to try and match.
Could try to like get. I've thought about trying to get like a stamp or something like that to do it, but it's just trying to match that and then being careful because you have to print it, like you have to stamp it in exactly. The odds of
You'd have to melt all the rest of it to get like the perfect stamp.
Right,
Yeah, it seems
the
like
odds
it'd be
of
a shit
failure
show.
on that are so much higher than just either saying screw it, it's not worth this much for a $25 piece.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Where's
I mean, the thing that I get out of the whole deal, and when I first talked to you about the plastic stuff, is like hope isn't lost if you wreck something on your interior.
No,
Unless it's textured, in which case you're fucked.
right, or unless you're not open to. It's one of those like you have to get kind of creative with it. But there's the amount of stuff that like where I noticed it got kind of crazy is when my friends went from, oh, you think you could repair this to, hey, I got some shit you got to fix.
Yeah.
Where it got like, oh crap, this is getting like serious about this, because I enjoy it because most of the time everything I try and do is different each time. There's always a different challenge to it, and it's just interesting to see what can be done.
Yeah.
And like that's what I think is just fun about it. Is just like if you can get creative with it, then like just the repair part's the easy part. Was when we start getting into the fabrication of like, okay,
Right,
we make this work.
that trim piece, for instance, hiding different things.
Right.
Mounting air ride controllers in different spots, but still looking,
Like I took a was for Jeff. He had a I'm going to screw it up. I think it was a B7 rear valence from. It was like they had just come out with it,
Yeah.
and he wanted it on his B6.
Okay. Yeah.
And it looked like, okay, you just need to weld it in and trim it up a little bit because it looked like it was a couple inches long.
Yeah.
When I lined it up, the curvature of their rear valence is drastically different. So I had to take the bumper, resection it, and rebuild the curve around the new valence. Now, the tricky part about it is, A, I didn't have the car, so I had to make sure the exhaust tips lined up in the right spot, and B, I had to do it in duplicate mirror. Because
Right.
if it wasn't perfectly the same curves to both sides,
You'd notice it.
once it's in paint, you're going to see it. So
Yeah.
that's where it gets, the fun part is trying to do it in reverse and mirror.
Yeah, that's tricky. Jesus.
So half of the problem is I'm not a great fabricator. I don't have any, like, I'm self-taught.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll figure this out. So not having a great fabrication background or not coming from fabrication as like a background, half of it is like, can I actually make this work? Can I stick it together? Can I weld this? Will this actually work as far as like the welding side? And then can I actually figure out how to make it on the fabrication side and not screw it up and figure out a way to keep everything lined up so it's not moving all over the place?
Right. Because, when it comes to fab stuff, there's stuff, for instance, Project Binky.
Yes.
When they're cutting something up or about to take something out, this is early on in the projects, before they did that, they had to weld or cut and weld in some braces.
Sorry, I'm pulling a picture of my personal hell recently.
Yeah, no. So, they had to measure out, cut, and weld in some braces because they understand that it's going to suffer if not. So you have to almost think, have enough experience to plan ahead and know what's coming
The
versus
black
just
part's a
cutting
patch
something.
piece. The red part's the original bumper.
Jesus.
So I'm going to show Josh this.
That's
is
pretty ridiculous.
So the I'm doing a bumper shape on a European textured top. So the other fun part about it is I can't just cut it up over the body line and just weld it in there because it's textured on the top. So I have to
Right,
get
you don't
that
want to
body
get into
line.
that texture.
So I have to get that perfectly lined up on the bottom of the body line to where it sits and then get it centered and keep it all together. So that's the part about it. It's like something like that. If I don't get that lined up, you're going to see that like a sore thumb. Like that's the other fun part I like about it is if I do my job right,
You'll never know.
it looks like nothing ever happened. If I screw up, then like everyone's always seen the bad.
It's going to be, I was going to say, it's going to be very easy to pick out.
It's like bad body work when you see the Bondo patch.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
It's like Tesla. They only screw up like 30% of the cars that come out of the factory, and everybody makes a big deal about it. But is 30% really that much?
30% is not bad.
No, that's yeah. I don't know, man. It's such a good idea because obviously, my stuff's all 80s crap. So at least the outside's metal, but the interior plastics are usually chintzy pieces of shit.
Or just old.
You're breaking tabs, etc. Which I break every single time I touch anything. So it's good to know that you're out there as like the guardian angel of broken plastic.
And the other thing about it is like, that's the hard part about it is I love being able to like fix like, okay, it's just one mounting tab, but if you can just bring it back, because like half the time you're just probably used to like, okay, one tab's broken, just be gentle in that corner.
It's gonna flap in the breeze.
Right. But on the flip side, for one broken tab and for one annoying corner that doesn't sit perfectly, how much you look online at somebody, like you either have to find somebody who's selling a part out and pay astronomical money for ones that probably also have broken tabs.
Well, I'm thinking about like the center, kind of like the center dash surround on the R32s are impossible to buy. At least I've never found one. And everybody's got broken tabs, and they all look like shit because they're all scratched to hell. I mean, you could refab the whole goddamn thing.
Right.
Recondition it. In fact, next time I see you,
And
you're getting a center.
But this is what ends up happening is it's just like one of those like, because it's not a common thing. That's the other thing I run into is a lot of people have never seen plastic welding, seen plastic repair. Their experience with plastic repair is super glue and it failing miserably.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or, a JB weld and it just being this giant booger of two-part epoxy that doesn't work.
You literally fixed like all my super glue issues today, just bullshitting outside. Seriously.
Well, I had some other stuff that I'll show you that's even more screw your head up.
All right. It's top secret shit. Back in the van later.
There's actually like a two-part that it's called Plastifix, that it comes as a powder and you can basically, that's what this is right here.
Mm-hmm.
So you put it on as a powder and then you hit it with an activator and it turns into like a rock solid.
Yeah, that looks super beef.
Now the real cool stuff is they give you this little piece of it's like you ever had a mouth guard when you were a kid and you put it in hot water and you formed it?
Yeah.
So they give you a little bar of that stuff. And so I took it and I needed
Put it
to
in your mouth?
Immediately put it in your
I put it in my
mouth.
mouth and then I made teeth marks on the piece.
Once we get through that.
Yeah. After I chewed on it for a little bit and made it
Wait,
like,
what was this for?
So what was I doing with this? What it's nice is
Mouth
so
mold.
it's like, if you had a
Real
tab
doll.
like this one and you were trying to repair this same one, you can make a mold of this tab and then put it over here and then fill the mold.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And it's so I did it with a fog light just to try it out, and it was a really complex shape. Obviously, you're going to need to still kind of go back in and fine tune it, but it gives you the perfect rough shape, and it allows you to easily duplicate another tab somewhere else that's just snapped off if you can replicate one.
Yeah, which is huge because that can save. It's almost endless.
No, that's brilliant. Rather than sketching it up, you can just knock it out on your teeth guard.
Right? Yeah, you just bite down on the mouth guard.
No, it's actually, that's a brilliant idea. You make that negative mold and then off you go.
Right, and it just allows you to fill it, like you basically fill it back in. It's a little tedious, but again, being able to build a tab out of nothing.
Right.
It doesn't work with every plastic, doesn't work in every situation, but just having that in the bag of tricks,
Yeah.
like that's kind of the thing that I've really enjoyed is like, is this something you can do? Okay, is there a way to do this? Because most of again, the general philosophy on like plastic fixing is it's fucked.
It's done. Right. That was my thing. Well,
Oh, absolutely.
This is
You're going to
trash.
super glue it, and it's going to last till you hit boost, and then it goes.
Right. On the flip side, most of the time, there's a big question: is it worth it? Is it worth the time?
Oh, I think
Right. If
certainly-
it's regularly available, sure.
Right. No.
right. I was just going to say certainly it just comes down to availability.
Right.
And again, the more and more we know and understand these cars that we love, the shit's becoming more and more scarce. And
Correct.
at some point, you're going to have to fix it if you want it.
Right. And then the other fun part, though, is then there's the modification side. You can take it crazier.
Have you, I know we were talking about it earlier, but you've clearly modded exterior stuff, some interior plastic bits, whatnot. Have you messed with an intake yet?
So I am working on a project I can't really tell too much about because it's still just kind of in the
Top
beginning.
secret.
Yes, but we are working on doing some, as Chuck will be excited about, performance modifications for plastic intakes.
Okay, that's what I was just curious of. Is you
I am
start to
excited.
modify that stuff, and you can make it better.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of the interesting part about it is as more becomes more plastic, it's becoming more demanded.
Mm-hmm.
The problem about it is most people don't know if anything exists, so they just manufacture the piece they need. If they really wanted a nice manifold, they just get it made out of
Go
billet.
buy a metal one.
Fucking bullshit. Billet.
Exactly. But yes.
Well, I mean, a prime example is just the with the E36s and an M50 manifold. Everybody gets them because they're bigger, wider, more air, etc. And that's obviously OEM piece, but if you could make that out of plastic, you might be onto something.
Mm-hmm.
Which we can get into the 3D printing of stuff.
Wait, do I know that manifold?
And I think you are onto a few things. So, for instance, tell us about the tabs on the grill.
So
Well, actually, if you can, explain the problem
Whoa.
as well.
So I don't know where I put them, but they're probably in the other room or something. I got into I've known about 3D printing. It's been great for a while, but the main reason I did it was actually this piece right here, the that Mark IV air ride controller, because I'd made one years ago, and someone asked me to make another one, and the company that made the little like drop-in template said, "Screw this, no one's running V2 anymore," and I was like, "Well, that's annoying." I was originally going to hand fabricate the entire little bucket. I was like, wait a minute, I could probably draw this up. I at this point, I have no idea how to draw anything in CAD.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I got free time at work. Let's see if I can figure this out. So I watched a bunch of YouTube videos, downloaded the free copy of Online SketchUp, which is the only thing that would run on my work terminal, much to everyone's dismay who keeps telling me to use Fusion 360 because it's actually really good software versus SketchUp is
Free software.
free architectural software. So
Right.
if you try to draw any circles or anything small, it's like, yeah, if you want to draw your kids a treehouse, this is the great software for you. If you want to draw something that's going to be printed about this big, and you're fretting over 0.5 millimeter, you're fucked.
Right, the bolt for a treehouse.
Yeah. And so I drew it up, and then we printed it, and the nice part is I could then have something that was very like a specific design that I didn't actually have to go hand fabricate that shape anymore. I could just take that as a widget and then weld it wherever I wanted to.
Yeah.
So that just opened up, like, it's like having the miscellaneous hardware bin. I'm like, okay, well, I just need this little piece that's this shape.
Well, now
all
you
right,
can make
cat
it.
it up, print it. Here you go. Now you can just stick that wherever you need it. Like,
Yeah.
it was just, that part became just mind-bending of like, okay, what can I do with that now? And so I just kind of started running with it about 4 months ago. And one of the ideas that came to mind was Mark III's, we're going back to what I know here,
Can't wait.
are pieces of shit
Wait,
in every single fashion. Whether it's we all know that the metal on them is garbage, but the plastics on them are garbage too. They break all the time. They have the grill. I don't know. The Mark II kids say that theirs is worse. I don't know because they have more clips, so there's more chance of it holding together. Out of I think there are 10 clips on the Mark III. 6 of them will break. 4 of them are broken as soon as you install it.
Yep.
And
Also, for a one non-Volkswagen listener, we're talking about Mark III and 2 Golfs, Volkswagen Golfs.
Volkswagen.
I remember my Mark III Jetta grill, badgeless grill, just melting.
Oh yeah, they're
Just melting and just bending and folding and just like, oh.
Come on, one day it's just gone.
We're doing that now.
I mean, the design alone is just terrible. And then you get heat soak from the engine. You have sheet metal screws stuck through it that are going to rust, as everything else does. And then the grill tabs are pretty much a flex point that are maybe 1.5 mil thick. So the thing's screwed no matter what. I mean, after the
Right.
first,
and right, when ultimately the car needs to be serviced for reasons we all understand,
or just
and the grill has to come out, it's like 1 or 2 times and that's it.
well, they got glass headlights. You have to pull the grill off to fix the headlights. You have to
Yeah.
pull the grill off to take the bumper off. I mean, at some point, you're going to pull the grill off.
Right.
If you own the car for more than 5 minutes. And so they break. and then your grill fits like shit and it sags and it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I've learned how to draw one basic shape with SketchUp. Let's try something really, really difficult as far as what SketchUp likes to do. And after a lot of help from my friends who can 3D print to kind of correct my design so it actually would print, we made a grill tab repair kit. So it's as easy as cut the old tabs off that are still maybe there, little bits of them, and super glue it on.
Well, just when you're taking the grill off to put the new tabs on, they'll probably come off anyway.
But the problem is it leaves, they don't break cleanly.
Yeah, you
enough
gotta
just
take
glue it
the
right
junk off.
Yeah, you gotta still clean them up a little bit. But it was, I was like, okay, what can I do with this? Like, how can I make this helpful? And then I went about how can I design this so someone who doesn't plastic weld can use this. So we did a bunch of trial and error and testing, and I was like, you know what? Let's just give super glue a shot, and it worked really well. And so that's just kind of like, okay, how can I bring this? Like, so now I'm working on Mark II ones, and I'm just trying to figure out ways of how can I help people keep their plastics, not have to now try and hunt for. And the hard part again is it's one of those like, okay, or just deal with it not fitting right. Like, that's frustrating. That's the front end of your car. That's like one of the main things that you look at, and if it looks shabby, that sucks.
Well, DIY kits rock, because obviously sending out to you rocks. But however, if you're like, I just want to take care of this right now, like step-by-step instructions, tabs, here's what you do it in an hour.
Plus, I mean, we all know that shipping costs have gone through the roof.
Exactly, and then you're shipping brittle plastic.
Right. That's the other thing about it. Is like, yeah, you could do it. I mean, I'm just going to do the exact same thing that you can do at home. So,
Right.
So for the price of me shipping you a tiny little bag of clips
versus
and the nice part about it is
multiple times.
If you only got one that's broken, when the other ones start popping off, you have the rest of it there to fix it.
Right.
Exactly.
You know,
It's
it's
easy.
for one.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we messed around with it before the podcast, and the one you put on from Perfection Plastics, that one's going nowhere.
It was like
That might be the last thing standing on the vehicle.
You remember Napoleon Dynamite
Yes.
when he's trying to sell the Tupperware?
Yes.
Yeah. It was like us. We couldn't rip it in half.
We couldn't rip it in half. We tried as hard as we could.
Couldn't do it.
And that's
Even
the
had
other,
young Ben do it.
yeah. Well,
couldn't do it.
he brought the knife out.
He
I was like,
knifed
you're
it.
cheating.
He knifed it.
But the other thing is, like, it's just, that's the thing that's been really helpful is I have a couple friends who are really good. Like, I can't print. I don't have a printer. I don't know what I'm frickin' doing with a printer because everyone thinks that just, click print, or, they've seen a 3D print. Like, there's that other element to it is like their friend got a 3D printer for Christmas off of Wish, and they printed something that they tell you looks like a Pokemon.
With some preloaded stuff, right?
I get it off root.com, though.
And same thing. But the thing about it is there's actually a giant skill. And I know you guys deal with different people in your industries where they're like, there's a big, the engineering team and then the mechanics team are two different people. Like I can
It's like
draw.
a starter in the transmission.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just getting used to learning what can be done with 3D printing and really kind of pushing that further forward. So I've had my friends that TJ and Juan who've been really, really helpful with taking out the pain for me of not having to learn how to print.
Yeah. Right. You can focus on creating the design.
Right. And which is super helpful because a lot of times they'll send me back my design after looking at it, like when it goes to print. Cause like thinking about it in terms of how it's going to print.
I was just going to say the design is one thing.
Yeah.
But the way the machine can be manipulated and rules apply to that, I'm sure is another.
Right, like reinforcing shit, stuff
Right,
you don't think about if you're not the print guy.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Or just like, okay, can you, and they'll ask me like, hey, can you move this over here so that way when it prints, it doesn't need more supports or it'll be stronger. Cause like if you print this, like, that one's going to fall apart if you do this. Okay. Let's see what I can do. It just kind of, it's a really neat, fun back.
Kind of bounce it back and forth.
Right. Cause it also is just one less skill that I have to learn, but Christ, like
Bonnie and Clyde.
Well, and they are really good at what they do with it, and it makes me look good.
Yeah,
because like that's it, just bringing back a little bit of validity to it actually being a legitimate way to make a part versus kind of being a gimmicky little thing where I printed a toothpaste squeezer for my aunt.
Exactly. That most 3D printed stuff is exactly that.
Yeah,
I downloaded this bullshit. Here it is.
I've been on Thingiverse. I found
so
a thing.
glad I bought
it
this.
Prints like crap.
I mean, there is a value to it. Even in my world on a daily basis, we have purchased 3D printed stuff, and it's just like, oh shit, that makes so much more sense. Let's just do that.
Right.
It's cheaper. It's quick for us anyway.
I know Ransom Pete's printed up some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, and I mean that world in general is going to change, especially when you get into the 3D printing of metal stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously for obvious reasons, but with plastics, it just
Metal's
makes sense.
And especially like when you're like, I'm tiny. I'm just me. And so I
You're a big
can't.
dude.
Well, I was going to say, well,
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
definitely not
physically-
tiny at all.
no, you're a Sasquatch.
You're a very large man.
Yes, I am. I'm a large human being, and which is helps
Thankfully,
with that.
thankfully, Manscaped sent over a lawnmower 3.0.
Yeah, I need the bigger blade though. They got the one like the hedge trimmer. I want to
Yeah.
be able to do like one pass.
Serious. You just need the one shot, one kill.
Yeah. Can I get the like 7-inch fucking blade? This is dangerous here.
I had a bigger throat on that thing.
But being able to not like have to like, I'm not a big enough company where I can go on something like economy of scale and be like, hey, I need to call up China and order 100 of these widgets. I'm like, I need 6.
Not yet.
Right.
Like I just need 6 printed. Like I don't need 100.
Yeah.
There's no way I could bother to get them to make me. So being able to have that, so if I need a limited run, or the better part is like, okay, I need 4 of these. All right, so now that design's in the box. Like a year from now, I just pull it back out.
Still there,
to
right.
print.
As needed.
Right. So that's kind of like the huge part about it is like on demand with it. Like if I need a thing, or if the other great part is if I fuck up, which I've on many of these designs, like we have these ones right here, like this thing, like.
So what he's showing us now, remember that not everybody can see this, but
Sorry.
is a door pull for an Audi.
Yep.
That looks like your original design was made in one piece.
Yep.
And then walk us through why that wasn't going to work.
So one of the things about 3D printing is that you have to think of it kind of like if you were making a soft serve ice cream cone. You only get one dimension of where you're putting that stuff. So if you're going to try and print something that's got a space over it, you're going to need support underneath that.
Right.
So if you're making a design that's got multiple dimensions to it, if you're not just printing something that's kind of like a castle, if there's any space underneath it, they're going to need to put supports in there. So you can get the supports out, but they leave residue. And sometimes if there's too tight a tolerance for it, you won't be able to get the supports out. So on this design, it printed and could be used, but I'd have to hollow the core out of it to make it work.
Which takes extra time and effort, and
Or just like, it's not going to work
it's
out.
just right. Won't be as good as it could be.
Right. So what's nice about it is like I can screw up a design and we can run like a little like test version of it. And I can be like, okay, is that going to work now? No, it'd be better if it's moved over a little further. So it allows me to actually kind of evolve the design
Right.
without having to be like, cool, I've ordered 100 of these things
And
that
it doesn't work.
can't use.
Right.
And also like with having that relationship with the printer, they tell me things that they're like, hey, this is not going to work. I'm like, yeah, give it a shot. And they're like, okay.
Hey,
It
look,
didn't
this
work.
Didn't work.
Versus like, if you were sending that overseas, they're like, we don't give a shit. We'll print whatever you want.
They
We'll
want
send
your
you
money.
yeah.
Right.
We'll send you 100 of the things that look literally like a melted ball of wax.
Like a fly-by-night wheel company.
Yes.
Regarding your relationship with the printer, did they help you dictate and determine what plastic, what spool of plastic is used?
Right. So there are, again, coming back to plastics with limitations, like some of the plastics are toxic to print, so we're a little limited on it. Some plastics
Toxic to print.
Like, so if you're printing ABS, you need a ventilated chamber. You don't want to be sitting there sniffing that.
If you're a wimp. No, I'm
or,
just kidding.
or if
Sounds
you don't
terrible.
want, or if you don't want to go join the rest of the people in the hospital with COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, because that I'm sure would be debilitating to
Yeah,
your
it's
respiratory system. Is that what
really dangerous? Like you need like a special setup for that. So like
Yeah.
either we have to like set up an outside rig and run it that way, or we have to outsource that.
like meth?
Yeah, if you're making a meth lab, you want to make sure you make the clean,
Ventilated.
the healthy meth.
You just don't have a trailer
Yeah.
where you do ABS plastic printing.
Right.
Right.
Or
an
we
RV.
just,
In the desert.
but it depends on like different stuff has different, like the plastic for the tabs is polycarbonate, but that's more expensive. It takes longer. It needs different heat levels.
Yeah, shit's like invincible, though.
Right.
So that's what I was just going to ask. Polycarbonate. What's the benefits of that?
So polycarbonate is the same plastic your headlights are made out of. So like the headlight lenses, polycarbonate.
Okay. So just very,
really rigid, really stiff. But the problem is it's a high temperature. So if you're not careful with your design, you can melt the design. So it's a little too fizzy. Like, so like sometimes they'll be like, okay, this will take longer to print, or you need to build this with a bit more reinforcement to it because otherwise it's going to sag.
Yep.
So like, you watch Project Pinky, so like gusseting. He'll be like gusset that part because otherwise when you like if you do a hard corner with 3D printing, it doesn't do as well as if you do a rounded corner because that way it can kind of build that edge layer over it instead of trying to go hard over.
Yep.
So we do a lot of that sometimes.
So when you're designing the stuff, is this more of your job or the printer's job? For instance, using a plastic that requires more heat, do you have to think about I assume it's going to be the printer's job to think about where the print head is in relation to what it's doing to what's cooling or already cooled.
So sometimes we'll actually, like one of the tricks that he told me he was doing was we have a 15-inch print bed. He set one item up on the other side and one item up on the other. So it had the print head had to run across the table.
Nice.
So it gave, when we were doing the tabs, it gave them a
Cooling.
chance to cool down before it came back for the next layer.
Okay.
Versus on some, though, you may want a little of that, like, that's where, like, they are so helpful with that because they'll do tricks like that to try and make it work.
Right.
Like
right.
sometimes they'll load.
You may want something a bit more malleable for whatever reason.
Like, so sometimes he'll
it's
just
formed.
throw an extra, like if we have, he'll throw an extra item on the tray just to print something to have, like that cube that we have with the logo for them on it.
Yep.
He'll just throw that on the corner just to give it another thing. So that way it's not spending all the time doing one object. So that way, if we're trying to run a certain level or do a layer or trying to adjust for heat problems, we'll do that. The thing about it is, like, it gets so technical, and I'm so glad I don't have to deal with it.
Right. You can, again, like we said, you can just focus on the design.
Right.
Is this going to function? Do what I need it to do, and then
Right.
go from there. What about the finish of the actual 3D? Again, I'm with fit and finish of the actual 3D pieces.
So that's the other always drawback to 3D printed is a lot of times it looks like it's 3D printed. So there are tricks to get around that, but for the most part, where I'm looking at it is, whether it matters. If it's going to be visible, then we're looking at something that's going to be a finished piece, sort of like this, where we're going to go back in and whatever surfaces are exposed are refinished versus function. And then you kind of try to work with it. You'll try to make it look right or utilize the fact that you're going to have that graininess. Either try to make it with, like, have a pattern like we did with this or a pattern like that.
Yeah.
But you're right. A lot of times it's got to be finished. So I look at it more as a component versus the finish. Or we think about it in terms of the way that we're printing it to try and hide the worst sides of it. So, like, whatever side's going to be out, we try to make look better.
Okay. What about the actual finishing of it? Does it depend on the plastic? Can you go back and refinish some stuff?
Yep. Yeah. So with the plastics, I can go back and use the same techniques I would as if I was doing regular plastic welding. That's the benefit of it.
Yeah.
Like, so there's another style of 3D printing that uses resin and a UV laser.
Yep.
But which is useless to me. You get super crazy detail and it's super expensive. I mean, you could literally print a watch face on this stuff and it would be perfectly detailed.
Oh, wow.
But
it comes at a cost.
It's expensive. It's messy, and you can't weld it. So I don't really care.
Obviously you're not you're not knowing or determining where this stuff is going to go, but where do you see it going in the future? Obviously it's going to improve.
With 3D printing or just with being able to I just love the fact, like, so kind of as a kind of, like 10,000 foot view, I love the fact that it's kind of getting back to the 90s, but crazier. Like, you can get, like, with where body kits and customization of plastic was big, but the problem is you had fiberglass junk. That was the problem. Like, so, like, they didn't flex right, they didn't move right, but you can build stuff that's going to function as the way that the OEM was intended, but look the way you want it to. So you can fix that ugly grill. You can fix that front bumper of a Supra and make it look right.
Minus the mustache.
Yeah, you can get rid of that. You can shave it off.
You can give the old lawnmower 3.0.
Yeah, there she is.
I just like the fact that it's catching up to the point where it's accessible to someone that's not to a one person shop.
And it's, even though it's not in the public eye, obviously we have bigger fish to fry, if you will, at the moment.
Like YouTube.
So
thanks, YouTube.
It's going to advance, or it is advancing, I'm sure.
Very much so.
How often, who's that, Polyvance?
Yes.
How often do they come out with new welders and things like that?
So I'm in the process of trying out a prototype rod they just put out. So they actually just put out they're putting out new products all the time. Like, they just gave me, this one's really cool. They put out a silicone putty. So you can make like the way I was talking about with that mouthguard mold.
Yep.
But this one's actually a heat one. So the other stuff you can't use with heat. This one actually allows you to make a silicone mold on the fly. And then you can use the plastic welder to fill it with hot plastic.
Yep.
So it basically allows you to have the equivalent of a plastic extrusion, like mold making factory in your hands.
That's what I was just going to ask. So essentially, you can create molds,
yes,
and ultimately fill them,
right,
and replicate
without it being like, because this stuff's still, that's a 2-part epoxy. It's a glorified 2-part epoxy, which is not the same as actually putting in the real plastic back in, which is stronger and a better use.
Right, you're going fiber to fiber versus adding a
correct
foreign element that sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's just like, that's one of the ones that they just came out with that, I want to say a month ago.
Yep.
So they're still pushing it forward, and it's really interesting because it's still like a fledgling thing. There's not a lot of people that are into it. There's not a lot of knowledge about it. Like, I follow it, and either that or the information that's out there is real basic. It's like plastic welding. If you were to watch the hashtag on Instagram, it literally is just bumper repair guys going, look, a broken bumper. Ooh, a bumper that's been painted now. Like, they don't really talk.
Instead of, like, you kind of put it in that hot rodding terminology, just fucking with stuff.
Or even like really showing what they're doing, just because it's like, okay, so what did you do? And like, I saw the crack, I saw it fixed.
Just threw Bondo on and painted it.
Right, pretty much. Or like miscalled, like where they use like a 2-part like fixor from 3M and call it plastic welding.
I was going to say, because, I mean, before you, I honestly didn't plastic weld. What the fuck is that? And I thought everybody just used
bunch of kooks.
JB welds.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, half the stuff that I do is actually fixing older plastic repairs, especially on polyurethane, which is a really tricky one to work with. I rip out a lot of fiberglass and a lot of glue all the time. And just because the technology for what can be done, because it's more important, because, again, more cars and more of the car is plastic.
Right,
and expensive plastic.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
and it's going to continue.
Like, I'm in the automotive industry, and like headlights, you break a tab on that, that's $1,000 headlight, because you need a freaking tab, because otherwise the jiggly headlight's not going to pass inspection.
Right.
Or it's got some sort of sensor in there that says, no, your seatbelt's not buckled.
And those parts ultimately will fluctuate because it's a petroleum-based product.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that.
So being able to fix a tab is becoming more important than, like, okay, I don't want to spend $1,000 if I can save $1,000 by
for sure
spending 20 minutes and $30.
I was going to say, even spend $100, it's worth it.
Yep.
So you have a handful of projects on your plate right now, which is good.
Got a couple. I got a really neat one coming in. I will be fixing a miniature car. So like, I got a pedal car.
Okay.
Polo.
There's a pedal car, but it unfortunately got damaged when it was shipped to the owner, and so it's coming up to see me, and I'm really excited because we're gonna fix it, and we're also gonna make some cool new modifications to it. So it's kind of fun to actually like have a whole car to work on.
Yeah.
So there's that coming in. I'm again I'm always working on 3D printing stuff to try and bring that forward.
Right, to see. Right, because you have the Mark III grill tabs. Said you're working on Mark II grill tabs, right?
I got working on now the 3P air ride mounts, because those are now more popular. And then some boost gauge stuff, just because people have wanted some of those. And it's just trying to find something that's not already available, because that's the other hard part is the amount of time that it takes and effort as one person. So I got to make sure I'm building something that's not already readily available. I was
just going to say, right, because you know damn well there's manufacturers out there that are buying 5,000 pieces of these because they're molded ABS, made in a factory somewhere for cents on a dollar.
Right, and they already have the design. There's no point in trying. Like, if something's already in the market, there's no point in trying to compete.
Yeah, it's not exactly. So I think you have the right niche, finding those pieces that aren't out there that will ultimately help people, because people will appreciate that, and if they appreciate it, I think they're going to be fans of it. So
yeah, that's the idea. I'm a user too. Like, I use my own stuff.
Yeah.
So I sound like Hair Club for Men. I'm not just the president. I'm also a client, but which would help me under the hat. But they're sort of thinking about it in terms of being an enthusiast as well. That's because like this all came about because I couldn't afford to buy brand new stuff off of VW Vortex. So if I could fix it, I could get that really rare piece and for way cheaper.
Right.
So that's kind of where it came from. Is sort of like, okay, so at this point, how can we keep those rare pieces?
Well, last bit before we get into the questions here, where can everybody find you?
So mainly right now, we're working on getting Facebook set up for Perfection Plastics, but we're slow. So mainly on Instagram at Perfection Plastics, and then we also have perfectionplastics.com coming up.
Cool. And that's plastics, not just killing the planet.
Yeah, no.
but also can be used for good.
Recycle them. Don't
If you
just
search
throw
up
them
Save
away.
Yeah.
the Plastics, it's
recycle
being a
them.
bunch of straw posts.
Want to get into some questions now?
Yeah.
I think we got.
Thanks, Joe. That rocks, man. Now I know all my shit's not broken.
It's a cool. Again, it's something before you. I just never really gave it much thought. And I can see how there's a value there. And oh shit, you can make cool shit too, but you can save. I think to me the big is just saving stuff.
And it just gets crazy with like, okay, so like when Charlie was talking about, like, again, I fixed a tab that was this big, and I was like, there's no way. Again, I come from the same kind of mentality that everybody else does, where I tried fixing it with glue and it never worked. And now you have technology that will allow you to actually do something, and it's not just a Band-Aid, not just an okay, like, you know, it's stuck back
It's
together.
an actual fix. Yeah.
It's going to last.
Better
It's
than new.
durable.
I was just gonna say, and in some cases better than OEM fitment and use and reliability.
Yeah, there are times where I definitely can make it better than it was before because I'm not working on an engineering tolerance where I'm trying to build. Like I can build it the way I want to.
I'm gonna be quite honest. The Mark III tolerance is not that stringent.
No, that thing. I guarantee you, if like we gave young Ben, even with no fingernails, could break that tab off the OEM one.
He'd use his knife.
Please don't acknowledge Young Penny's not here anymore.
He's back. He's just.
Are you on Facebook Marketplace
not
again?
mentally here anyway.
Yeah.
What did you find?
Dirt bikes.
Oh God.
Together, make a set.
Let's get right into.
You gotta go side by each or nothing. Everybody knows.
Right into the questions here. Peanut butter idiot.
Peanut butter idiot.
Do you have fuzzy dice for the MCV? Not yet.
Actually, yeah, I do. I have
Oh,
red
do you?
fuzzy dice. Yeah,
Ooh.
like it in my garage. So yes,
We do. Done. Rixie 1121.
Rixie 1121.
If you had the choice of 10 free Subarus or one M3, what color M3 would you have?
I can think I go white. No, World Rally Blue.
Doesn't matter. Purple.
It's so insulting.
Oh God. Yeah, World Rally Blue.
Yeah,
with
can you
some
special
gold
paint this
wheels.
for
some
me?
gold wheels.
World Rally Blue.
He also Rixie 1121 also writes Yas Marina Blue for me.
Yeah, same.
Good job, man. Never finishing projects.
Never finishing projects.
You can only listen to one album for the rest of your life. What album is it? Oh my God.
Is this a new what are we listening to as well?
Yeah, we can get into that.
One album for the rest of my life. Man.
It's so tough.
It comes down to an album that's tough. I'd probably actually pick Daft Punk Discovery
Oh, that's a good album.
because it's a good album all the way through.
I'd probably
You can't skip songs.
just 90s angst. I'd probably do Nirvana Unplugged.
Oh wow.
Wow.
I remember watching that with my parents.
I remember seeing that too. I'm not a fan of Nirvana at all.
Don't be a fucking
I
idiot.
just can't. I don't know why. I just can't. I'm trying, but I can't.
Listen to that album.
Well, that's the thing. I think I own that album.
Yeah,
as
which
a teenager.
Cody
I did too, for sure.
Cambria album is it?
See, no. So I would.
It's a Thursday album, buddy.
I don't know. Oh man, it's so difficult. I honestly don't know.
It's that or I just do the corniest. I mean, I'm a terrible Beatles person, so any of those. Sgt. Pepper's probably.
I just pick a random classical artist and just leave it because that way it won't drive you insane.
I don't know. Metallica Master of Puppets stands out there. Something I haven't listened to in a long time.
You get like 2 repeats and you'd be like, oh, fuck this guy.
See, that's the hard part. Is if you can't skip
Right,
a
that's
song,
the-
you're just going like, oh God.
See, I don't know if skipping the song is well right, because there are incredible albums, but not all of them are perfect where you can listen from front to back.
Right, there are definitely like 1 or 2 trash songs that you're like,
Right, like what is
What
this?
have I been listening to? I've been listening to, God, one of Jamiroquai's albums pretty endlessly recently.
you go check for you, Paul Oakenfold Transport.
Oh, man. No way. If Jamiroquai's Funk Odyssey, that's the one. I could listen to that endlessly probably if I had to go something that wasn't Nirvana. Totally different, but man, that album rocks. If you get it in vinyl, let me get that. It's so goddamn expensive.
Look it up.
It came out of that time right before like people were into collecting vinyl again,
Right, and it was just the perfect time.
and it
yeah.
was over the point when they would actually make a lot. So it's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, you're fucked.
That was it. The amount of pressings now that you see, it's actually quite good. I like that.
Well, I got
Yeah.
you Schwarman and sneak it back across state lines. Let's do this.
Connor McCann, just
Connor
how
McCann.
mutual is the consent in the MCV?
It's 100% mutual.
Yeah. It's a legal binding agreement that both parties have to, or all parties have to sign.
Yeah, we get contracts.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
step across the threshold.
No,
it's over.
warrants. We got warrants. Warrants.
Yeah. Predator. Kevin 401.
Kevin 401.
Coffee milk, yay or nay?
Nay.
Yay. Autocrat. Get at me.
Coffee, anything. Take a hike.
Oh man.
Bean water.
Tough call. Depends on the day.
I'm in on coffee milk. 100% in on coffee milk. Woko_VW.
Woko VW.
Just writes viewer 10 to 100. He wrote $10,000 mark. 2010 VW Jetta TDI Cup. You missed it, and it's so good.
How much is it?
$10,000 mark.
And it's what?
2010 VW Jetta TDI Cup. They did have a TDI Cup race series. That's about all I know about those.
Tell you what, I didn't miss
had
it.
a whole bunch of them down there for a while.
Let's see.
Chuck just wants to play the toy.
That really does seem
let me see.
fantastic.
Let me skip around a little bit.
Some bad ones in there.
Fucking Steve.
Fucking Steve.
Why do I always see cars with one HID bulb and one halogen bulb?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, hey, tough times.
It takes work to do that. You got to like dump igniters and stuff. I mean, it's
That light's also mad at you, too.
Andre Lapierre.
Andre Lapierre.
Where's the best shawarma around North Providence?
What? Mike's Calzones.
Done.
Oh, you're a Rhode Islander, so you won't leave North Providence to go to Providence, Providence.
Yeah, that's probably true.
We're gonna have to ask Corey, who's a North Providence local. But if you can make it and you can get a hotel in the city, go into Providence
Before 10
and
o'clock.
get Mike's Calzones. Incredible.
Before 10 p.m.
Also, shout to North Providence. Always
Justice-
going hard.
Justice Beaver 69
Justice Beaver 69.
just writes, awesome to see you guys working with Sam Paiva again. He's very talented. Hell yes, he is.
Yes.
Because I'm stoked to run yet another set of photos from him in the next magazine. So
Party on.
shouts to you, Justice Beaver, as well as Sam and all those guys. Under Pressure Racing. They're doing some awesome
Shouts
stuff.
to everybody.
Shouts. Mad shouts. 3-6 Matfia.
3-6 Matvia.
Is it just me, or are more people's photo editing styles look like deep fried memes?
It's that VX takeover in the
Yeah,
skateboard
there's
world, going into
some-
the photos,
You
going to
can-
stills.
You can certainly notice some trends, but you know,
They're always there.
They'll change. Yeah, exactly. Tyler, say what?
Tyler say,
What's
what?
the best weather besides sunny?
Snow.
I would say sunny.
Snow and lots
Charlie in
of
the
it.
Hill.
Hill time.
Stunt nut.
Also, if I can borrow some Vermont license plates, that'd be great.
Stunt nuts
I
4130.
might have a set.
My guy, Stunt Nuts,
Stunt nuts 4130.
4130.
Best method / tools
Best meth.
/ chemical to clean cloth interior.
I've always used Griot's Garage Interior Cleaner, which has worked really well.
Yep.
That and just like a microfiber. If you're going absolutely, it
I mean,
depends how
I was
shitty
just
your
gonna say,
interior is going. But
depends what
I've-
it is.
that's worked on almost everything for me.
Are we talking? Is this a blood situation
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, what are we
Like,
cleaning?
Yeah,
what-
because
what
if you got blood on like a carpet in the trunk, brake cleaner, hammer it.
The carpet in the trunk.
Yeah.
I do like those little Bissell little green machine things.
Those
Love
things are
that
cool.
thing.
If
Yeah.
the velour on your queen size rear seat's got blood all over it,
Right.
a friend of mine told me brake cleaner, agitation brush, soak it out.
Yeah.
Little lime, shovel, tarp.
in
Chuck
about-
replacing Siri for where to hide
in
a
a,
body.
in a few years, just really turn it to dust. West Beach Willie,
West Beach Willie.
he just writes, "Hello America, it's good to have you back."
Hello, West Beach Willie. We're not back yet.
I don't know about that, man.
Yeah,
You just get
gone.
ready.
Yeah, you.
It must look a lot nicer out there than it does over here.
Yeah, what?
You got room at West Beach?
Yeah, we'll see how things all play out, I guess. Sixth stage.
6th stage.
What's a car guy to do in the wintertime?
Snowboard? Drive his car in the winter?
Yeah. Drift
Build
in
a
the
winter
snow.
rig? Crash in the snow?
Yeah.
Buy car part. Right, buy a cheap beater. Buy a cheap beater and have some fun in the snow.
Rear-wheel drive winter beater.
give young Ben a cake and a homeless person. See what happens.
Hold on.
Harris Teeter. Shouts to Harris Teeter.
Harris Teeter.
What's the worst mod you've done to one of your cars?
Worse mod? Wow.
Sound sensitive underglow or street glow.
Sound sensitive
Whoa.
street glow?
That's fucking strong.
What in the fuck?
God, I don't even
Mistakes
know.
were made. I was 18.
Modifying my Subaru.
Owning a Subaru.
Buying a Super.
My most.
Thinking about getting a Subaru.
I,
How far back can we go?
Right back to ping porn.
I think the worst thing was bagging my S4.
Yeah.
Just because there's such a nuisance, and I had other cars that were bagging. It was fine, but I shouldn't have bagged that car. That was the one
speed supercharger.
That's the one I regret the most. We'll pick one more.
One more.
Oh, geez, here we go. R32 dot Marcus. My God.
R32 dot Marcus.
He writes, not a question. I'm listening through the backstage catalog, currently on episode 90. I'm getting through 1 to 2 episodes a day. Keep up the quality content, boys. You put out a top podcast. Thank you very much,
You're almost
man.
to the quality content.
Let's see, 90. Oh man, there's been some good stuff.
Thank you for listening, especially to all those episodes.
Yes, seriously.
I know.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's people that make it through the back catalog blows my mind. Having been there, wow. Juice squeeze.
Yeah.
Just to get right here.
Gotta really set that mark high.
The pickle discussions, endless pickle discussions.
Oh,
No,
pickles!
God,
I saw
pickles.
Connor McCann's running for president, and he said he would ban all pickle-based
He's
activities.
He's anti-gherkin.
He's anti-gherkin,
Anti-gherkin.
but he said more guns. So that guy gets America. He might not live here,
Right.
but he gets it.
He can fill right in.
Give me
Last
another one.
one.
That wasn't a question.
Coach Ben B.
Wait, Coach Ben B?
Coach Ben B.
I like this. I like where this is going.
Can
you
you
need to borrow
do-
the van?
It's funny you say that. Can you do remote podcasts from the van? Sure. We're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think once car shows start up again, so we don't have to actually dedicate this to anything. This is never going to happen. We'll do car show podcasts from the van.
do that.
I'd like to do some on the road stuff. We're thinking about doing a podcast where young Ben drives us somewhere and we do a podcast.
Yeah, my biggest hesitation with that is young Ben driving.
Yeah, exactly. So we
Hey,
had
I
to,
drove
it's-
truck home the other night.
I know. We're thankful that he made it.
Is that why you're getting green screen so it looks like Ben's driving? Safe in the van.
No,
Well,
it's just like that
as safe as you can be
that
in
late
vans.
show. It's just like that fucking late show idiot there who fucking sings with people in the car. And then you
car show
realize
karaoke guy?
The car is on a trailer, obviously, and he's being trailer. Yeah, that's what.
is it really? That's a trailer queen?
Oh, it's trailer. Yeah, it's fake.
That whole show
Who'da
sucks. That's actually a show. Like that's a TV show people watch every night.
I don't know if it's a TV show. I know it was a late show that had a segment to it. So I think we should start doing it.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
So
Seemed to work for that guy.
yeah, 100%. But no, in all reality, we have a bunch of stuff, kind of ideas floating for the van. Gonna do an intro video soon. Again, I know I mentioned that. I just haven't had time to film it. Got a few ideas and things that we want to repair and fix on it. So create some content out of that. And then ultimately, we are targeting some bigger guests that
We're gonna drag race the van.
Maybe we can get an answer on the phone one day. And we will drive up to them and lure them outside to get them in the van and do a
free candy?
podcast.
I wasn't made aware of this. I am 100% in support.
it's hey, you miss every shot you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott. And that is going to do it for us because there's food here. I'm tired and I need to get home before curfew.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Watch out for the van.
We will be back next week.
Corey will be back. We hope.
Corey, we hope so. I think so. Yeah,
Miss you, Corey.
we'll see.
Shout to English Ben. Corey. Who wants a van?
Swear to me.
Being quiet instead of muting the mics. You say it now at the end. Mics are still live.
Ooh, secret podcast?
No,
Secret podcast.
I can't remember what it was.
Just keep talking over the music.
Yeah. Whoever's still listening, how you doing?
You'll think about it eventually, buddy.
This is getting
I
real
know.
weird.
Wait, everything free on the website?
No, God, Jesus, no. Yeah, I can't think of what it was. There was something in particular. It was very big and huge, and I hope everybody listened. No, it wasn't. I just can't.
Was it a
remember what
predator?
It was huge.
No.
In the back of the van?
No, I can't remember what it was. It was something I wanted to address today.
Was it Our website,
No.
Next
Oh,
Magazine.
fuck. Yes, you're
Hey,
right.
we're still on.
We're still on. Holy shit, if you're still listening to this.
Secret podcast.
No, not yet.
Wednesday.
No, we're going to be adding an addition to the website. That
That's
I
it. See ya.
hope- See you
Thanks for
later.
listening.
That I hope will help us as well as help people in general. One of the biggest things and complaints that we hear everybody talk about is how much Facebook Marketplace sucks.
It
right?
does, yeah.
So
Oh my god.
we're going to have a revival motoring classifieds on the website.
Are we really?
And I am working through the idea. I've been testing some stuff on the website. I have some guinea pig stuff that people have sent to us to post up there. Again, I have those things kind of saved as drafts. I'm going to kind of make this thing work out the best we can.
What's going on?
I did write up some rules the other day, have an idea how that's all going to work. But yeah, in the next week or two at most, we will have a classified section on the website.
Can we have an auction site too, so I can get rid of an E30 with an SR20 in it?
So that's the thing is I don't want us to be responsible for
Back
that.
pages section.
we probably could have an auction site, but
No, we don't need auction. I can just put that thing up for sale.
and that was my thing. Is basically the idea with
on
this,
our site, though.
Yeah.
Because I just got rid of Facebook, and the only thing I was like, how am I going to cruise Facebook Marketplace for
Bingo.
stupid shit?
So this is it. So again, Joe, your Perfection Plastic stuff, you could post that up there. We're going to charge you for a fee,
A massive amount of money.
Understanding, like there's a reason to that.
Unreasonable.
Right. Whatever rent is each month. So
So it really depends on how many items we have listed.
there will be a fee associated. However, I think it's going to be more than reasonable. And the main idea behind this, matter of fact, this is Corey's idea. He sparked it.
It's car
he
guys
sparked
seeking car
one up.
guys.
He sparked one up. No, he said the idea and it sparked
Shut
it
the fuck
in
up.
me the other day, and I'm just like, fuck, we're gonna do that. So yes, just like Chuck was saying, the point is, like-minded people going to the same place, and hopefully, fingers crossed, eliminate a lot of the bullshit that comes with other marketplaces. It's going to be as simple as possible. Here it is. Here's what's for sale. Here's the price. Here's the location. Here's the contact if you want it.
Oh,
and
that's
go from
excellent.
there.
It's like the never mind. It's a bad joke. Craigslist joke.
It's men with goats.
Yeah, you're like looking for a plumber. You go on Craigslist, men seeking men. You find a plumber. It's just not the right thing ever.
Lots of
I'm
pipes.
looking for a guy to fix a toilet.
And the other thing is there will be a review process. So,
Oh, young Ben's gonna review everything.
oh no,
Your
no.
price is too high.
No, not necessarily that. That is what it is. But just like, I'm not going to allow your fucking bowl of cornflakes to be put on the website for
fuck
sale.
you.
Unless you pay me a lot.
I like this extra innings portion of the podcast.
So that is coming. That was the thing I was trying to remember, but I forgot. So thank you, Chuck, because he said website and it triggered me.
Triggered. Thank you for everyone
So,
that
yeah.
tried to listen live.
Yeah.
Because I think you all got knocked out of the chat room, or we just. I mean, we have even small amount of people listening for what we usually have.
My wife texted me and said, hey, just to let you know, YouTube is down entirely because even my daughter's YouTube Kids just stopped working.
Because we're on YouTube Kids, right?
Right, exactly. That's exactly. Target demographic, 5 to 8 years
Ever
old.
since we got the van.
Let's fucking let's watch it with that.
Thanks for
predator.
listening.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see you never again. All right.